Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the PlayStation EU T4 Grand Finals here in the Console Gaming League for this season of the Overwatch multi-tier tournament. I'm Korbeck, joined by Soav Danon here in the casting booth with the wonderful Head Rammer handling our production. And Soav, before we got started here looking at these two teams, Limerence WGA and Ack Insanity, you were telling me this was promising to be a real heater of a match.
I will tell you, and I will tell everybody else, I would put my stamp of guarantee on it. So for anybody who's been watching this most of the season, this was one of the first games that we saw, at least from me, casting it, and it was quite the matchup. Both these teams played their hearts out. I believe it might have either went to 5, and Limerence came out on top then, Korbeck, and I think they're looking to make it again. So this was a match in the making. This was a seasons-long rematch waiting to happen, Korbeck, and I'm excited to see how this plays out now that these teams have had some time to grow.
Well, season-long rematch indeed. Limerence, of course, the first seed. Ack Insanity, the third seed. Both really solid squads. I think we're saying Limerence has kind of missed out a couple of times on some top placement, but Ack Insanity kind of in that same band. Never quite been the bride, always the bridesmaid. So we'll see here. One of them was walking away, right, in a white dress. So we'll figure out who that's going to be. Our first map for the night will be Busan. So have you got any kind of insight or idea of what teams might be running here?
So it's looking like over on the side of Limerence, they're probably going to favor that brawl. They've had a lot of success with Burnroy on, with Black Serpentine on that Zarya and Cal on the Mei, which is very, very big here. So I'm thinking they're going to try to run that brawl into a lot of this, which Busan's a pretty good map for that. You have some open skies that you need to be afraid of, but on the whole, brawl is pretty good, especially in EU. On the side of Ack Insanity, if my memory serves me, they did have a pretty decent forest, so that may be something you watch out and keep your eyes out for, because as always, if you don't keep your eyes in the skies, you're just going to get burnt.
Oh, yeah, very true indeed. Well, I think both the teams are ready, and as soon as we can get into the lobby, we will. Definitely, of course, Koth providing its own set of challenges. As he said, Brawl still very popular. The Pharah as well, always a good pick. Echo can make some appearances here. All scary prospects. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily know what our first stage will be, but you know, Busan is one of those. Well, now we do. It'll be mecha-based here.
Yeah, and Mecha Base is a little bit more of a close. You may not see the Pharah, but you do have a lot of high ground angles. So putting a McCree, a Soldier, or a Widow and Ashe on those angles and giving those sidelines is definitely enough to keep yourself maintaining that space, Korbeck, pretty well. And there's a big space to brawl up here, so we'll see what both these teams decide to come out with.
Yeah, we sure will. I mean, like you said, they've got a lot of room for brawl. It is not a map that favors the aerial attack as much, and you can see with those early lineups leading straight into the brawl, right? We've got the Mei, we've got the McCree making an appearance, and then a Doomfist in here from a Monster. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see that come out or not. It certainly would be a bit of an off-meta pick, all things considered. But
that is a comfort pick for Monster, though, Korbeck. So maybe you think you don't know what's coming out. Maybe you're just picking. Oh, that is the switch to McCree. Pretty standard on both sides. Although we do see the Ana on the side for Nice to See, and the Mercy one trick not on the Mercy one trick. Putting a 2-trick on the Baptiste. We'll see if the Baptiste and the Immortality Field makes a difference.
Monster already putting in some shots right there. Unfortunately, not really finding the target. The Maywall is in here as well. They have Zarya sectioned off. They're pushing up, trying to get a pick. Can't quite find an Immortality Field. Was forced out early on there, though. Elbow Baggins now exchanging a vigorous barrage of icicles right there down the pipe, but unfortunately no kills from either side yet. The two Brawls playing very cautiously here on the top deck, not quite wanting to engage. Removed a point coming in already. It'll be Ack Insanity who drops first, but it's Elbow who goes down first to the fight. Mercy one trick, by the way, following them quickly into the grave is Black Serpiente. Starts to pop off here. Burnroy drawing back here. A fight in the mech room, and they'll rotate back over towards point. Should have that one secured right away, so a good, clean fight for Limerence.
It was a little advantageous of Insanity to try and take the point first. It was the right concept, but with no picks on the board, you just kind of gave up the high ground advantage right to Limerence. And when you have that, especially with the McCree firing down on you, you're just in the bad position, especially if you don't drop altogether.
Oh, Serpiente caught out there, killed almost instantaneously. The Electric Cowboy comes riding into town now, pushing forward there. Monster going in with as many fans of hammers as physically, humanly possible in a short amount of time. Burnroy now pushing up to the high ground, waiting for that Reinhardt shield to break. He does have this chatter here. Burnroy looking again. Burnroy's shield getting low as the high noon does come out here. Has a target. Unfortunately, Zarya will pop bubble and he'll be brought down. His feet got peaked right there, I think, under the Maywall. As the pressure coming in now from ACK. They're waiting for an opening, and they've certainly found it. The pressure coming in. Nice to see is taken down. It's Cal goes quickly into the grave. Now Purple Kiwi just pushing forward here, and they'll start to rotate them backwards towards spawn doors.
ACK managed to flip the point there in the middle of that fight. Not quite sure exactly how that happened, but that was a big play for them because now they started to, you know, while they were in the middle of cleanup, they were also gaining that pressure, and that was a good advantage. Oh, my goodness, I wasn't expecting that.
Maywall came in there, separated Serpiente and Monster right away. The high noon being thrown by Kiwi just to secure that kill of the Zarya, and once more the push kind of interrupted before it could even begin. So,
yeah, and if you're ACK Insanity, you're happy with that. You managed to buy yourself a little more time and give yourself that advantage there. You do have the ults are now coming in though. We haven't seen it, and there goes the Graviton Surge right away.
It's a great ice wall there, actually, from Cal, just providing a little bit of additional perspective. The shatter, the grab coming in, the blizzard thrown out, the Maywall coming in as well. I think that catches the blizzard, but it won't stop it from taking impact. Unfortunately, Immortality Field goes down early on. South Barrier invested here as well, just a blinding flash of colors across the screen. No real team getting an advantage here, but at the end of the day, it'll be ACK Insanity who are still holding the stairs. The window invested here as well, and they'll continue to put this pressure forward. A Purple Kiwi surging in. They were led into that charge by the Reinhardt, and I think they have actually won this fight. Burnroy going down right there.
Limerence invested a lot to try to push themselves through that choke, that small choke point. And I don't know that might have been the smart choice there, Corbeck. You do pull out the counter ults on the other side, and you basically almost reset the economy with Monster coming in ahead in that Deadeye race. And maybe that's what you're doing. You do have Nice to see his nano boost, so maybe that's going to be the key difference here.
Monster getting up to the high ground, just trying to hold that position, but is Cal dying early here. Monster just getting beamed down by the unstoppable power of Zarya. Speaking of unstoppable, he'll pop her right in the head and end that right quick. Monster absolutely annihilated as a nano boosted Black Serpiente comes charging onto the point. Unfortunately, can't secure the kill. A Purple Kiwi is there yet again to pick up one, but it's curtains here for Limerence. No bodies left alive to contest that point, and a solid final fight by ACK.
ACK fought very well together. They managed to play like a team, call out those picks, and the great Maywalls there that came in that denied a lot of those advantageous, I guess, ultimates that came in really did them well. Let's see if the ACK can keep that energy as we go to the second map.
Some swaps coming in here. Looks like maybe a change to double bubble on the side of ACK. Meanwhile, Burnroy and Black Serpiente look like they're sticking with the Zarya. What do you make of the swaps there over on the side of ACK?
I like the double bubble. I'm a Winston player myself, so I always prefer to see that. The Echo's Echo's a little bit tough if you think they might have a McCree. That's a big ask from Purple Kiwi, and the Ashe is a good take even in the range. On the other side, though, the Torbjorn is going to put a lot of pressure on that, and you don't know that yet, but I like the Torbjorn pick, I think, as just an interesting counter. Maybe you're expecting a dive here.
Always do like to see a Torbjorn. Well, Limerence coming up there from Drum Jr., a more direct approach here from ACK Insanity. Elbow Baggins just looking for an opportunity to get some early damage in, not really finding it with all those shields and bubbles and what have you. The pressure coming forward now. Elbow Baggins taking a significant amount of damage to the face right there. Looking for that Baptiste, finds him, gets a couple of shots in, but can't finish him off. And it's a turret kill to start us off here. Mercy One Trick, by the way, is brought down, but will be rezzed in almost immediately. Limerence takes an early pick of the point, too.
Yeah, they commanded the space pretty well. It's hard to dive when you don't have your support is all far away. You know, the Ana wasn't playing at range, your Ashe was far away, and your Echo was just distracted by that, so you really didn't have the ability to. The changes are going to come in from Limerence, and they're going to try and match that brawl now. Ooh.
Oh, no. Monster got caught peeking on top of the drum by Elbow Baggins with some Rainbow Six quarter peek here right there. Gets the pick. Elbow now trying to push forward, has very little health, has to dodge the fire strike. Gets Cal, meanwhile, racking up some kills. A Purple Kiwi res right back into the fight. Burnroy getting ground here to a nano boosted Reinhardt on the other side. Unfortunately, not really able to get too much value out of the nano. They haven't yet shoved them off the drum. They'll reinvest the grabs here. The push coming forward. They're just swinging into that. The pin coming out as well. Burnroy crushes Excelsior. And once more, Limerence has secured a team fight.
It was a good team fight for them too. You only really committed the Graviton Surge, and that's really big, considering Excelsior on the other side is coming into theirs, and you do have one or two of your support ults coming into it. It looks like it's going to be a good, and that counter Molten Core could be very big against that Graviton Surge coming in there, Corvik.
Yeah, they'll harry them right back to the spawn doors, but now they'll start to back up. Monster firing a couple speculative arrows down the gut there. Unfortunately, can't really find anything with them. A purple Kiwi now over the top does have the duplicate if they choose to use it. Drifting in on a nice, gentle gliding path, looking for the opening opportunity. Gets the clone in, and it's a Torbjorn. The window coming in, the grab coming in, the Molten Core coming in there as well, but a purple Kiwi is just caught out and burned down. However, the rest of Limerence taking big advantage of the space made by the Echo, and or not by the Echo, my apologies, and just pushing them back right there.
It was a good hold. That Molten Core came in pretty clutch for them, and just overall, they're doing very, very good at supporting each other there, and that's going to give them that map. This is going to make it go to 3, Corvik. I knew this was going to be close, and I was not disappointed so far.
Not even gonna lie, that duplicate kind of confused me. I forgot who I was looking at for a second there. And
I think that I don't know if that Torbjorn was intentional. You might have been thinking.
I don't think it was.
I think they were looking for the Reinhardt, and it just kind of clicked the Torbjorn instead. That said, it's not the worst thing to duplicate the Torbjorn. If you can have the space and you can build the core, that's a great way to push them back and control it. But I agree with you. I don't think that was intentional there.
No, they just kind of got slammed too. Unfortunately, they were just in the fight. I definitely think they wanted to be Reinhardt right there, but that's okay. Yeah. I was also very focused on not calling Torbjorn's ult something that would be inappropriate for younger viewers.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay.
It's the call out, you know it. Everybody.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that when they're a little older, Corvik.
We adults know what we're talking about. The kids know, but we do. Anyway, the pressure coming forward here. Limerence trying to get a body on the point already. The wall comes up, and they've caught the Reinhardt looking. Pressure coming out there, but Birdroy will survive that. They were just not able to get forward fast enough. A purple Kiwi on this McCree, trying to think about picking an angle on the side, but he'll stay with his Reinhardt, continue to pump damage forward into those shields. Now the charge starting to come back in. Unfortunately, no real success here for ACK yet.
Limerence keeping it with Cal on that Torbjorn is an interesting pick. You get a little bit more damage out there versus the Mei, but I'm very curious to see how this plays out. And it looks like it's not going to work out for them, Corvik, because they're just going to get run on.
No, Limerence pushes forward there, bites off a bit more than they can chew, and the only one who can strike back is the deadly fangs of Black Serpiente, but unfortunately, ACK managed to take that early point cap.
Yeah, well, Limerence Limerence didn't quite get set up as well as they wanted to, and they had to fight from that high ground, which would have, in theory, paid off for them, but ACK's Insanity Aggression, they're just really, really pushing them over, and they're going to have to be able to continue it. They have the window and the Earth Shatter coming in for them, Corvik.
They sure do. They're pressing forward straight on. Now they're going to go over the high ground, just drop in, parachute down onto the point, looking for something. Finds nothing with the fire strike. Burnroy does have that shatter in the bank, and we did see a shatter. No, not yet invested on the other side. Definitely thinking about it, but they're going to back up here and just give some space. They cannot quite pick the lock. They just don't know which way to go. Cal eats a fire strike to the face, gets very low there for a split second, and the team is there to power him back up, and this is an extended poke phase as they'll begin to push in here. The turret coming out, the charge coming in, the shatter comes out as well. Out goes the window. Why not? Throw more ults into it. Monster gets one pick, but is immediately traded back out by Mercy. One trick ult count, getting a big move in there as well, taking the other DPS out of the equation. And it's just all ACK Insanity in this fight. They just will not stop. In fact, the support line doing a mighty job of cleaning up here.
You lost Tipper early there for Limerence, and that was really what slowed that up, was the rogue icicles of Elbow Baggins coming through big, and ACK's managed to maintain a pretty good grasp on it, and that's the benefit of the Mei, right? You have the ability to control the space with that wall and take the fights where you want to. But with Molten Core coming on the other side from Limerence, maybe they can take that space back and force them off into a little chaos, Corvik.
Well, Limerence is down, but not yet out. They'll come up here with the high noon. They'll start that early on. The Deepa Bomb sailing in. Oh, no, Monster! Oh, he luckily avoids that. Unfortunately, he doesn't avoid the fire strike that follows it up. Just too many projectiles to dodge right there. Uncrowned Knight, though, taking some serious damage, being pushed over towards the train tracks. Burnroy trying to basically play in the Molten Core will be brought down. Now Elbow Baggins just here on the cleanup duty. The sound barrier was invested right there by Limerence, trying to keep them alive. Tipper doing his best to keep the team up, but unfortunately Cal goes down. Monster does get a pick on this Doofus, can't generate any more shields, will not be able to survive. Overtime ticking down. The valiant Black Serpiente trying to hold on. He's got the support there to back him up. That will allow Burnroy to retouch the point. Burnroy does have that shatter in the pocket if he can find the opening to use it. Underground Knight there just trying to give his team a little bit of space, but they're actually backing up here. And in the midst of all that chaos, I should say, they flipped that point.
Yeah, they wanted it. They knew it was do or die there, Corbeck, and ACK Insanity just is fine with that. They're at 99. They need one fight. You know, you're not too worried. Let's back up, get regroup, take a breath. Let's win the fight on our terms. And I think that's what they're going to want to do. They have 2 ults coming in. Blizzard could be the big difference maker here, Corbeck.
Shatter coming out early from Burnroy, no real value to be had out of it. High Noon coming in, grab thrown out as well. Immortality Field was deployed, but Burnroy gets caught out by the High Noon. The Diva Bomb sails over the top. That's Black Serpiente and Tipper both taken out of the equation. And that might just seal the deal here. The bodies of ACK Insanity all over the point. Alone touching effort from Cal, not enough. The Doomfist dives in immediately, basically with a flurry of rockets in the Blizzard to seal the deal as one lone hamster in a mech tries to hold it together. Unfortunately, it won't quite work. Oh, the contest, though, so they just don't want to give it up.
No, they know that this is it, but that's unfortunately the time is up, and that's going to be the end of it, Corbeck. Valiant fights from them, but ACK Insanity is going to start off on the lead. And I'll be honest, I wasn't going to predict that. I thought Limerence was going to come out strong here, but ACK Insanity showing 3rd seed means nothing to us. We want to come here. We want to win this.
That was it was a very close match, to be fair, even towards the end there. I think that we saw on Mecha Base and then a little bit on Downtown, Limerence maybe was getting a little bit wrong-footed at times. You saw kind of the ult that was thrown out towards the Shatter just got absolutely nothing. They weren't really able to follow up on the grab. If anything, the grab didn't really work out because it allowed for the High Noon that picked the bait tag. Burnroy got caught looking by that one, which unfortunately happens quite a bit. You know, everybody wants to swing at the grab. Nobody wants to hold up the field in front of the grab. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think the other part, and I hate to call Burnroy out on this, there were several Earth Shatters that just went straight into other shields, and that's super important that you can't afford to keep missing those. If you don't miss those Shatters, that's the opening to get your McCree High Noons off, to get the grabs in, to really kind of get those in. And yeah, you can generate them pretty quickly, but if you keep missing them repeatedly, then you're just kind of costing your team some value there.
And in all fairness to the man as well, I mean, as the tiers go up and up and up, right? The mind game, the ability to actually hit Reinhardt Shatters kind of goes down. It's like one of those graphs you would see in economics class about scarcity or something. I don't know. I didn't get good grades in economics, so I won't talk anymore about it. But yeah, oh lordy, no. Just giving myself like PTSD thinking about it.
The sweats are coming.
No. Overwatch.
I think the other thing worth noting there is that I believe it was Limerence also started on the Ana, which seems like an interesting point at the start there. But none of those anti-nades came in, Corbeck. None of those were really hitting that well. It didn't seem to really pay off in the long run.
You know, it's not something that I noticed, but you do actually make a really good point. I don't think I ever really saw an anti-nade making a huge play. And I mean, you know, obviously the anti-nade has many uses in terms of being able to boost healing and whatnot. But yeah, we just didn't see it. It's, you know, and it looks like our next map here is going to be King's Row, which probably means that we're not going to see much of a compositional change.
No, I think that McCree is going to be the standard here. Maybe on point A we might get a Pharah or something odd just to kind of push. Maybe we'll see the Widow make an appearance. But I think on the whole, you're right. We're probably going to see more of this classic EU brawl, Corbeck.
Classic EU brawl. Well, it's going home at the moment, so we're going to King's Row. Both teams are ready. And we'll hop in here as soon as we can and get started on everyone's favorite Overwatch map, Scribs Row. You've all seen it a gajillion thousand times before.
No one's going to... Did we really expect anything different, Corbeck, though? Did we really expect to not go here?
We did not expect to not go here. Wait, that's a double negative.
Wait a minute.
It's not very good English grammar right there. Get it, England?
It's okay. Let's bring it back to where English was founded, and let's get it right as we take it and run this payload out.
Oh boy, that's some material. Write that down in your. I don't think anybody's going to want to steal that for their set. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, Here we are in King's Row, so a very brawl-oriented map indeed. One of those ones that's kind of infamous for the ability to play a very solid Ryan Zarya, and of course that is what we will be seeing. And you are right, so I have the McCree, at least coming out here for Ack Insanity. A little bit of a debate here by Monster, probably involving a certain large cyborg, and yeah, there it is.
This is a comfort pick for Monster, so yep, and it looks like they're gonna dive off of it. They're gonna go Hanzo here. I like the Hanzo. You do have a little bit more range. You have a bit more shield break in that Hanzo with the storm arrows, and I think that could be a pick that pays off as long as Monster manages to hit those shots and is not bothered in the back. And we'll have to see if that holds out for them, Corbeck.
Waja and Hanzo making an appearance here, so we'll see what value they can get out of that. The pressure going to come straight in from Ack Insanity, wasting no time. A face check, essentially. Oh, Monster! Got this Mercy one trick to start things off, and Burnroy is just living main tank hell right now. Monster getting a pick here. Burnroy getting one as well. Black Serpiente gets in on the action, and all of a sudden, Limerence is just surging forward.
Yeah, I don't think they're too thrilled about losing F1 there, Corbeck. I think that very initial arrow from Monster really set the point home that they don't want to see this happen again, and they're just going to try and hold their best here. Not much to talk about on that one. Early pick, early win.
Mercy one trick actually switching to the Baptiste almost immediately. Purple Kiwi taking a tiny bit of poke damage right there, but the pressure coming forward. Uncrowned Knight loses about half health pushing through the choke. Not too much to worry about here. The pressure is on from Ack once more. Good flank there from Purple Kiwi. The Maywall coming in almost immediately. They'll try and get somebody down there, but it's Cal can't quite find the freeze before the ice block is used there. Now pushing up into the hotel. The Shatter is back, and they will just kill everyone.
It was the right
checkout anytime you like, but you can never leave, I'll tell you that.
No, that's the Hotel Kings Row for certain. They made the right play with that rotation, and I think a Purple Kiwi might have peaked a little too soon. You didn't really have the shield with you, and while it pulled the attention and early did it, maybe it just ended up giving Burnroy enough charge on that Reinhardt to get Earth Shatter and make it a big one. There it is! Monster!
Oh! Kiwi gets caught swinging the corner of the bus and gets annihilated. Monster gets another one as well. Ult account goes down, and Monster just absolutely fragging on this Hanzo. He wants another one too. He's still hungry.
Free fights, I guess all it takes is 1 or 2 picks from that Hanzo just to win the fight, and you're happy with that if you're a Limerence. You've basically not spent a lot. You've generated your dragons, almost a blizzard. Meanwhile, on the other side, all you have is that window. They're still working on their blizzard too, but it looks like that'll be both active for this upcoming push.
Monster continues to pump arrows down the choke there. Unfortunately, can't quite find the kill. Elbow Baggins does have the Blizzard here available. Plenty of ults on both sides should they choose to use them. An early window coming out, where window on the other side as well. Shots coming in from Monster. Can't, again, find a target yet. He's peeking the corner, looking for something. The Immortality field was used there, but meanwhile, Tipper and Black Serpiente clean up some kills. The pressure now just boiling up to the front lines, and once more, the gateway is secure.
Tipper getting 2.
And Ack can't do anything but just back up to the spawn yet again.
Yeah, not too much invested from the side of that. Limerence just holding strong, very solid. They have Grab Dragon online for this fight, but on the other side, in spawn! In spawn, Corbeck!
He walked into it!
Oh my goodness, that's just gonna buy you you just bought yourself so much time with one more pick. Ack Insanity is just coming into 5 ults on their economy, but is that even going to be enough here? Limerence also equally coming into the same amount, and you have to make a hard push if you're Ack Insanity. You just have to go for it.
Well, speaking of insanity, we're about to see a bunch of ult insanity right here. Elbow Baggins immediately deploying Blizzard there, trying to get this one off. Counter Blizzard going up. Sound Barrier invested here as well. Grab Dragons, why not? Throw everything you got, but Monster! It's the big picks there with the Grab Dragons. Now the Surge really coming forward here. Monster gets another one. Monster the Hanzo paying dividends in terms of this pick. He is unstoppable right now as they go to hunt a Baptiste who just wanted a night out at the theater.
No, living up to their name, Monster is actually just gonna be a monster, and this is it. You have to hurry. You have 10 seconds. Get to the point, touch it, and you still have a couple ults if you're Ack Insanity, but make them count because you're running out of time.
Purple Kiwi now trying to get something, finding nothing behind him, comes in for the main wall. He looks good to see ya. And yeah, it is not nice to see that right there in the kill feed. Monster gets another one. The Kaiju of King's Row Unstoppable here, looking for yet another pick. They just can't do anything about him. The man's a magician. He's looking for another pick here as well. He doesn't quite find it. He'll go in for the punch. He doesn't even need it. The rest of the team pick up and he gets one more. Oh,
wow.
no.
Monster turned up this time around, and I think that alludes to really what I kind of said when they first initiated that pick. He was not contested. Monster was just not contested most of that fight, just given free reign to kind of fire from the back, take the shots they wanted. And when you let that Hanzo just come in and have the free reign, or just walk into the arrows, I guess, is also an option. They're just going to make the picks and win the fights for you. They need to do something about that. And if Monster comes out on that Hanzo again, Limerence may just cap the first third without a question.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, you're right. He was completely uncontested. Do you mean to tell me that a Hanzo sitting on top of the entryway to the Alderworth Hotel, just firing shots into the choke, is uncontested? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I dare say it, but when no one is taking shots at him, I dare call that uncontested, Corbeck.
Standing in a completely vulnerable position with no cover at all, but still somehow getting killed, uncontested. I don't know, man.
I mean, but if it ain't, bro, if it works, who's gonna question it? You know, if the Hanzo can just free fire and not worry about that, who cares? But we are gonna see that double bubble on the side of Limerence. Looks like they're just gonna make some aggressive space for Monster to continue to just free fire in, and not many nothing on the side of Ack Insanity. So I don't know what the thought is there when that Hanzo was just kind of having some free reign. Burnroy making... Okay, Burnroy is going to stay on that. I was hoping maybe we see the Hogs Zarya the double off tank, but unfortunately...
it's King's Row!
It's King's Row. We're not going to... Come on. Who would really want that?
Reinhardt. The Kaiju of King's Row. Monster already popping out the edge, trying to get one in early on. Can't quite find it this time, but the pressure just surges in. Like an unstoppable tide. Here comes Limerence and Ack Insanity. Backs up the Baywall coming in. What a cheeky little Baywall right there. The counter wall does catch somebody out, but Monster gets a pick early on already. It's Cal contributing as well. There's another DPS, and they are quite good. Now they drop it. Cal cleans up another one. Burnroy does go down. The fight quite even here, but Monster tries to uneven it as quickly as possible. He rides into King's Row, and destruction follows in his wake because he'll pick up one more. And that's a GG's there on King's Row, and Limerence ties this one up in serious fashion.
Yeah, needless to say, a Hanzo left uncontested will just rain fire down on you. And I think the other thing to note there, Corbeck, was that Ack Insanity played that very, very far back. They gave them the point for free, and I don't know what you were expecting there, but maybe you needed to hold a little... Maybe you needed to hold a little bit closer to that. Maybe you needed to not just give them the choke for free, because that seemed to be the problem. They came right in, they Maywalled you off. Now you're scrambling to even touch the point before a third hits, and things are already looking down for you, Corbeck.
I mean, you're very right there, and I mean, as you said, Monster just uncontested, just racking up those. He wasn't even contested in the big team fights. We there at the end, just kind of did whatever he wanted in that last fight. He dropped down and basically popped someone, you know, with a jumping shot off the top deck. I mean, it was absolute just Godzilla right there, storming through the streets of King's Row. And you don't see a lot at this level. I will say you don't see a lot of maps on King's Row that go like that. So it was a very convincing performance from the crew there to level it up. But I mean, okay, King's Row is out of the way. You know, we got to look to our next map, and I don't think they've quite picked it yet. But I just don't know if you're on the side of kind of the team that got dumpstered there. How much do you try and draw out of that, or you just chalk that one down to kind of bad news and just...
I think as we go to Volskaya, I think you. I'm sorry, as we're going to Anubis. I think you do have to take something from that, and I know we all shuddered as we heard that, but I think you do have to think about that a little bit, because you might have gotten dumpstered. Yes, it's hard to just write that off. Every loss has something to gain from it, and knowledge, and I think the knowledge there is that you need to watch out for this Hanzo, because if you just let that Hanzo go, they're just going to continue to rain on you and take those wins from you for free. And while not the best Hanzo map, you can definitely run a lot of Hanzo on here, especially for point A. So I'm curious to see what this thought is. Maybe we'll see the Junkrat. You know, Anubis, noted home of Junkrat. Maybe we'll see something of that appear. But this does give you a little bit of a different view for both teams, Corbeck, and I'm curious to see what they bring out for this.
Yeah, 2CP obviously remains one of these weird map types, right? Kind of forces people to to play a little bit differently, and it is hellish. I mean, we all agree that it's hellish. Even the devs agree that it's hellish.
Yeah, even the devs didn't like it. I'm sure we're all counting the days until we lose 2 CP. So until then, you know, just use your niche characters, enjoy your weird strats. You know, maybe this is the time we see one of those weird wonky sim teleports into this or something. But I don't keep my eyes open. I think we're going to see more Maykree. It still works. It's still very good here. But I'm excited to see what these teams bring, because this is a very, very even match, all things considered.
They might have to rest Hanzo away from Monster though in the character select screen. I don't know, physically restrain him from picking it. I don't quite know how they do it if they want to go back to that Maykree on their side, but we'll see here. And we're just, I think, waiting for the ready up from the teams, and as soon as we have that, we'll move into the map. You know, we're talking about Junkrat, right? This is Junkrat territory. Pharah can be, you know, effective there as well. If you kind of want to go outside the box, right? There are choices to be made. For a while there, everybody was doing that thing where you teleported Bastion between the two high grounds. So, it kind of shows you what's going on here.
I mean, even to a lesser extent, I think we saw Cal on that Torbjorn very briefly. I don't know about you, Corbeck, but down where I play in the lower tiers, Torbjorn defenses here tend to be interesting and kind of work. So maybe they pull that out. I don't think anything's off the board, but I do think both these teams have the things that they love to do, and they're going to do them. And actually, I don't think you mentioned it. I think a Pharah might not be a bad pick here. You do have the McCree counters coming in, but if you can get that burst damage in and just burst down a couple of those heroes really quickly, you can give yourself that advantage if you're ACKs.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, the hardest part, right, kind of for the far right is just getting through the front door. But once you're in past the gate, there's lots of cover that you can use, lots of area to play off of. So, I mean, it definitely provides that advantage. I mean, you know, we see the rush to the top right high ground a lot here. There's a lot of strategic diversity going into this point, but I mean, like you said, with these teams, they have kind of favored that Maykree. We saw in the last map, Monster kind of going a little bit ham right on the Hanzo because it just, you know, it was really working. I don't know if we necessarily see him come out again. Like I said, they might physically restrain him, but
I think the other question is that Monster has favored that Doomfist a little bit. We saw it initially in map 1, and I don't think we'll see it here. But maybe maybe there's something on B. Maybe there's a rollout on B we see it for, or maybe there's. Okay, as a main tank player, I love Doomfist for that reason, but I don't think we're going to. Listen, I can dream, Corbeck. Let me dream my big dreams of weird heroes.
I hate Doomfist.
I know most people hate Doomfist, but that's fair.
Here he is again. Just dropping in the back line, killing me, and escaping with
and then he's gone.
Extended more health than he started with too. Even if people are shooting at him, that's the worst part.
I don't expect to see it, but I will say that Monster has been looking to favor that, and I don't think we'll see it here. But that really does speak. But it does speak to the depth of the hero pool, and maybe we'll see some of that hero pool here. We'll speak to the depth of that hero pool here on Anubis, Corbin.
Well, it looks like the teams are ready, so we can stop filling with idle chatter and get to the action here. On the first map ever developed for Overwatch, Temple of Anubis. Let's remember,
first doesn't always mean the best. So
no, it certainly doesn't. I mean, it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, it's pretty to look at.
It's aesthetically pleasing, but yeah, I always loved that little tidbit. Yeah, this is the first map. This is the one that they did all their initial development testing on when it was just. I think it was just Widow and Tracer to begin with. It was just Tracer to begin with, and then it became Widow and Tracer as time went by.
You know, I didn't know that fact before today, and I don't know that my life is enriched by that fact today, but it definitely explains a lot. It definitely explains a lot.
You know, it was the first stab. It changed a little bit. They changed some stuff here. And speaking of Tracer, Elbow Baggins there, showing us little Tracer in the spawn, a purple Kiwi on the Genji. So Ack Insanity showing us a dive.
Elbow Baggins does have a very fierce Tracer. That is something you will need to keep an eye out for, because if Elbow gets in your backlines, they are very capable of making some picks. But we do see a dive on the defenses too. Slightly different. The Diva from Black Serpentine making a little bit of a difference. And Monster on the Doomfist. I'm still not sure if Okay, I didn't think we would see it. I was kind of joking, but I guess we're here. It's life now.
The boom fits. That's what it is. Gosh, by the way, I just love Elbow Baggins' name. I keep imagining Elbow Baggins dropping the people's elbow on Smog. That'd be so great.
I'm happy with that image myself.
Anyway, Purple Kiwi susses out what's going on pretty darn quick, fires some shuriken up there. Doesn't quite get anything, but he tries. It's Cal now, unleashing some shots in as well, as Monster will jump in and look for a pick, but it's nice to see who goes down early on as Elbow Baggins takes this high ground with the Tracer, puts pressure on the Winston, and Burnroy dies early on here. So the defenders in a bit of disarray here as bodies are on the point, and it's Cal going down. It's not going to do anything but contribute to the chaos.
Interesting. I wouldn't have called dual dives on this, and they've just given up the first couple points for free there. Not sure what happened if we were just chasing from Limerence or what exactly that was about, but it looks like that's gonna be the end of A pretty quickly and pretty definitely, I guess.
Yeah, that was a disastrous first point defense. They might just want to take the drawing board and throw it out the window there and start all over in a new office space.
Moving to the Sombra, I guess you're not getting the value out of the Echo you were looking for, and definitely good versus that ball, who's just going to get burnt right down, and yeah, that's the correct call from Cal.
Yep, good hack right there. The bane of ball players everywhere, right? This well-played Sombra, and it totally works in that circumstance. The dive just try and come in and find some targets, but doesn't actually really have that much success outside of the ball being taken down. Elbow Baggins is here, nearly sitting on a pulse bomb there. A brief exchange of volleys doesn't really net anything for either side. The ball is back here, so the dive can reset. Mines are in the pocket here as well for Excelsior. Excelsior goes up, swings in, thinks about the minefield, can't quite stick it, takes a lot of damage here. Ball has to be very careful. Hack drops underneath, can't go for the health pack because it's back too. Excelsior living in hell right there, gets picked off. Elbow invests the pulse bomb, gets nothing. And all the bodies boiling back towards the point right now. A hack coming in on Elbow Baggins right there. Baggins still alive, goes for the Sombra, tries to get a little bit of revenge, can't quite find it. No, Monster, however, finds a pick on that Doofus, takes Brakita out of the action right away. Monster goes in and gets Mercy one trick. Burnroy surging forward, wants another one. And he finds it in the form of the ball. Hack yet again.
I was a little hesitant, Korvik, because looking at this Lucio Mercy was a little low healing, but you're doing pretty good. You've managed to move that out. You've got mobility on your side, so it's paying off. And it's Cal already almost on their way to that EMP, which can win a fight within itself. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have the nano boost, you have both support ults, but not too much to push into it. If you're Ack Insanity, you might just want to try and build a little on this and see if you can bait that EMP out.
We do have the rally here, which is going to make life really hard for the Winston. They're already stacking up that armor here as they push in. It's Cal definitely looking for that EMP opportunity. There should be it. There. Oh no, he's done! What a play! Oh my lord! Purple Kiwi saves his team. Huge play there. Goes and peels and takes Burnroy out the back line as well. Purple Kiwi, the hero of the hour. Another great stun there onto the D.Va. And this will be the opportunity that they need. Ack Insanity just surging in. Disaster for Limerence right there.
Oh, that's so unfortunate, but if you're ACK, you're so happy with that. And Purple Kiwi is just going to keep going and just keep clicking. That's it. I mean, you have to just bring out everything for the contest. Thankfully, you're all on pretty fast characters, but you don't have a lot of tools if you're Limerence.
A good primal here, just trying to keep things up and switching to the right dying grounded. Evil Bomb comes sailing in on the backside. No kills to be had there. Purple Kiwi still alive. Pop behind you, looks for the wind, can't quite find it. The bubble did come up, but Purple still dies here. The pressure now beginning to boil, coming up to the top. They can't do anything about it. The only one left is Black Serviente. He'll get burned down. Black, it's Cal, gets Trez back in on a Bastion of all things and tries to keep this going. Monster jumps in on the point, pops the Doofus. Dalt finds nothing with it. It's nice to see his killed. New York Excelsior does have that ground if they choose to use it, but they're kind of holding on to it for a second here. They don't even need it. Wow.
I'm very interested in the Bastion choice there. I think I see what you were going for, just maybe trying to get enough on the point you can sit back on it and put damage and clean and kind of turn it back. But that EMP, Korvik, the loss of that EMP, F's in chat for that loss, because that was it. That was the thing you needed, and that stun was so big for Ack Insanity. A Purple Kiwi really showing why they were an MVP through the season, and I don't think you could ask for a better performance out of your DPS there.
I mean, they literally cracked the point wide open with that. I mean, that was it. Like, they caught the EMP out, and you could just see kind of Limerence just reeling from the loss of that ult, and then the pressure was just on right there. There was nothing they could do there, just completely crushed. And it's just unfortunate circumstances. It's Cal now coming out on go instead. Monster will be on that Doomfist, but kind of just a rough, sloppy defense from Limerence after such an impressive performance on King Pro.
I don't know if they were, this is definitely not everybody's favorite map, so I think maybe you didn't put as much time scrimming these maybe you're just writing this off as that. But either way, I mean, you have a lot of high points though. If you're Limerence, like Burnroy and Cal both looked really great there. They were looking good aside from those mistakes. Monster wasn't exactly able to pop like they had previously, but there's still a lot of hope. You can maybe have this. There's some hope to be had here if you're Limerence.
Yeah, I mean, you're not done yet, right? You still got lives to burn. Yeah, you still got reserves. And they'll begin here by just trying to suss out this dive a little bit with It's Cal. It's Cal getting a beat up in the sky, though. The big old Diva Mac comes up and says hello. Winston getting involved there as well. Again, the dive not really yet found a target that it likes to dive, but they are looking. It's Cal goes dangerously low again, needs some healing, but perhaps seeing the dangers of a Mercy Lucio being illustrated in real time right there. Now Purple Kiwi just wants to go in and finish some people off with the beat.
I'm not sure about that on the attack here. Your Lucio's there to keep up with, I guess, the Winston, but the healing output's not fantastic. You do have a lot of mobility, but at what cost, Corbeck? At what cost?
At what cost? Apparently the cost is leaving your 56 health Echo to just die. Just unfortunate. Not enough hospital coverage right there for that one.
You're out of service there, Corbeck.
Elbow dropping in behind, goes right back up. It's a couple of shots. It just
Sleep out of the air, though.
You got slept in midair and killed almost immediately. Burnroy dies as well. And that kill feed is just all red. Black Serpiente, the only one striking back. And it's just not enough. Monster trapped here in the corner will be hunted down by Elbow Baggins.
Elbow Baggins has really just been putting in so much work on this Tracer. You look every time you look at the kill feed, Elbow's in there just really just completing a kill. Just one clipping somebody, and that's too good if you're Limerence. You need to be aware of that. You need to keep track of that Tracer. If otherwise you're just going to get burnt out, your Lucio's going to get left alone or isolated. Okay, there's the remech from the Diva, so you're coming into a couple ults there. You do have the duplicate, but who do you really duplicate here, Corbeck? You take the Diva maybe the Tracer, try and get a couple pulse bombs quick. This is a tough spot for Cal.
I think you've got to take the Diva. I think that's just the most sensible choice. Maybe
there it is.
But the Diva will be the clone. Cal immediately going up to contest the high ground. Cal just firing away. Cal getting pocketed through all of this. Gets the Diva bomb thrown into their face. Oh! Excelsior gets 4! What? From nowhere, from behind, comes Excelsior's Diva bomb. We were so focused up there on the fight that was going on, we didn't see that cheeky nuclear detonation that was just hucked up into the air and got 4 kills.
I mean, you can't. What's going to be better, the copy of the original Corbeck? And Excelsior really proven that you can't copy talent. You can't copy a smart brain like that. Cal gonna go over to the McCree here, just not dealing with that Echo anymore. Didn't pay off in the long run, and just gonna move off. They're gonna go to Brawl here instead, and they're gonna do it. They don't have much time to go.
Nothing like the real thing, right? As they say, Elbow Baggins here, looking for an opportunity to come in on a flank. Cal will set up on the high ground and begin to jump in some damage, and you see Elbow Baggins causing some destruction in the back line as they drop in. Anti-Nano over the top basically hits Cal in the face. Nano Monkey in as well. Oh no. Winston with the big shock is forced to drop the final because Monster got 2. Monster got 3. Monster's putting the team on his back. Monster gets 4.
The man is popping!
Just made a hole. I don't know. He just took off his weighted training clothes right there and got all the picks on that last push. Insanity from the Doomfist to save the day.
I guess that's a comfort pick for him for a reason. Looking at these as he rolls out to the next point. Wow. Everybody remember to sign the thank you card for Monster for keeping you into the game here. Otherwise, we would have been moving on to the next map.
Limerence just saved by their Doofus player as Monster goes absolutely ham. Don't know where he's been storing that for the most of this point, but he found it. Another punch coming in. There's a bomb there as well. Run, Monster. Oh, he'd get out of the way. Thank God. I thought it was going to be some serious danger. I think the bubble was there, yeah. The punch down from Monster straight forward into the deep of Eck. Unfortunately, can't one-tap that as much as he might want to. But it's a pick on Uncrowned Knight. Now, my ult account gets caught out. It's Cal showing that there is another DPS in the lineup yet again, and wants to demonstrate that, trying to take this Echo out of the sky, and they do. What a good shot there from the McCree. Nice blast, and the bomb comes up, but no joy to be had on that as It's Cal catches elbow bag and flicking, gets another one. It's Cal now. We'll get the 4 kills. More of the DPS here. Limerence
and that's
suddenly decided to come online at the absolute last moment, and it totally worked out.
I guess, but that was the right call, right? Elbow Baggins is playing that Tracer, has been running you on that. And that is the correct pick. I mean, let's be real. That's Overwatch 101 is the counter picking. And that was the correct pick. You gave up I think Cal was on that Echo, wasn't really getting a lot of value on it. So why not go to something you're comfortable with that also counters something that's pretty good versus you right now? That Brawl switch, though effective, probably needed to come sooner, Corbeck. I think you had some fun with the dive and you tried some stuff, but if you're Limerence, you just stick to what's good and what's working.
I'm putting fun in air quotes right there. Had some fun
Yeah,
on the dive. This guy absolutely bodied on the dive for 3 minutes?
2 to 3 minutes, and then just decides that. Well, but that's it. They kind of just decided at the end of it, we're gonna win. Okay, we want to win now. We're done having fun, quote unquote.
All right, Monster, come on, buddy, do the thing.
Yeah, Monster. Okay,
poking with the stick, get him moving.
Okay, Monster, wake up, do the thing. But he did the thing, and that was what you're looking for. And they have to do the thing again on attack, and this is a better lineup. I like this. The Ana coming in for the Mercy there from Nice to See Ya. I think will do better on the healing. If either of the DPS just decides to wake up and play, you're in a good spot. And both these teams look like they're in a pretty good spot for what they want to be playing.
And the Mine's coming in there early from a purple Kiwi, just causing a little bit of early poke damage, trying to build up that ult as quickly as possible. It's Cal there on the anti-air defense. It's Cal getting shot at as they recreate the Battle of Mogadishu here, running through the alley. They'll come up to the high ground now, and they will happily hold this. It's pretty much been given to them for free at this point in time. No real contest wants to come up here and tangle with this. Fortunately, Cal can't quite find the shots they're looking for. You see the McCree trying their hardest. Somehow, Monster gets left in the midst of all that, and the mines do come in from a purple Kiwi. Again, not a lot happening. There it is.
There it is. It was the right rotation up. Yep. It was a good rotation in.
The drop comes in, and, well, the drop's not really met by any aggression. There it is. The counter dive jumps in. It's Cal goes down. Monster comes surging into the picture. And Black Serpiente strikes early. Tipper will go down. Unfortunately, the Lucio now taken out of it, so that sort of healing not there anymore. Nice to see you going very dangerously low as well, but the Ana will manage to survive. Echo just beating up on Monster right there. Purple Kiwi not letting him out of their sights. And they'll drop back in on the point. Uncrowned Knight here with the full support of his team, more than happy to deal with Burnroy, and they'll section off the Zarya and the Ana. That'll be Serpiente, and nice to see you sent back to the spawn, though. Uncrowned Knight took a beating right there at the end.
Yeah, it cost them a little bit, but they managed to hold it out. Only giving up that first tick, and that's that's enough. That gives you a win condition if you're Limerence, so you're okay with that. But you got a lot coming online. You just need to make it good as we get that early sleep time with Cal, I guess.
Cal takes a little nap there, wakes back up, finds things that are still as bad as when he took the nap. He will not escape. Uncrowned Knight drops in. They do have the nano boost for the Winston, and speaking of that, he'll drop right onto the support line and just start fragging. Pops the Primal, gets Nice to See out of the action, and Monster, the hero, shut down early on. Another sleep on Cal. Cal just can't stay awake.
And really important, that shut down the high noon too.
Oh, there's nothing really to get out of that grab either. The fight just really all over the point. They can't do much. Elbow Baggins does get stunned, but will manage to teleport out of it. Cal only gets one pick here as Monster comes surging in. Monster with the nano boost, trying to get someone. Does get my ult account out of the action. Tries to go for another one, but won't find it. It's some serious danger.
No.
Pops the doofus. Hopefully doesn't get back on fast enough.
That's unfortunate. Monster was fighting so hard to try and keep that point alive and was doing their best chips impression, but just couldn't make it there. And really, Ack Insanity just had good space control the whole time. Even though they gave up that corner, they managed to just control the whole of the map. And when they dropped, they just had them right where they wanted them, right into the pit.
Chips impression, so but he's not on the bench.
No, not at all. But Oh, got it.
Oh no. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway. Limerence trying their best there, I think so,
Yeah.
but they just not able to really, again, they were just able to pick the lock. They didn't have the big play that they needed, right? They needed one of their DPS to really pop off. Monster kind of, I think, got a little tunneled there in the sense that he just was going for one target, obsessively could not find it. We saw it in action on screen.
Yeah.
That seems dangerous.
I don't
know if you should be sitting there, Elbow.
I don't know about that. Well, I mean, let's be real. The Tracer is fire right now from Elbow Baggins, constantly showing up in the feed. But I do got to shout out the Mercy 1 trick, not on Mercy, actually on the Ana, who just, as you put it, kept Cal basically in a coma that last match. And that enabled Elbow Baggins to keep rolling through the team and just making those picks.
Yeah, it also freed up space. I mean, it frees up space for so many members of the team right there, too, because a Purple Kiwi and Uncrowned Knight both take advantage, too, of not having that stun in play. And this is a good little fun bit of Doomfist tech right there by Monster, showing off some of what he knows about the character, but he needs to know picks. That's what he needs at this point in time. Uncrowned King, Knight there. Look, I've been calling him Knight this entire time. King, I'm so... what?
This King.
Oh my lord, I'm so sorry. Anyway, the dive coming into the high ground. You've just been promoted Uncrowned, so make something out of it. As Monster gets an early pick there, takes Elbow Baggins out of the equation. The mech will be taken out here as well. It's Cal getting the early one there. You look, Excelsior will now just be in Baby Diva form for the rest of this fight. And you see the Bunny Blaster going off there. It's a Purple Kiwi, just decides discretion is the better part of Valor.
Yeah, you've got the time here. You've got a couple minutes. You only need a little over a third. You might be feeling yourself after that. But don't write him off yet, because Monster with that early pick in the DMAC there is very big. And bold decision to take on the Echo there, but we'll see what happens on the next push, Corvette.
I'll be very quiet because it's Cal is hunting Tracers. Unfortunately, did not find their prey that time as a Purple Kiwi takes to the air now and just tries to get some poke damage in early on the dive. Coming up over the top, big anti-nade, huge anti-nade. Unfortunately, they're not really able to follow up on it. Nobody quite goes down. The Immortality field did have to come out from Nice to See You, though, to get the team through that. Also building here, Uncrowned King now looking for an opportunity to dive forward. Just gets hit hard in the face, backs up right there. Mercy one trick gets taken down and res back in, but a Purple Kiwi dies in the mix of all of that. It's Cal, gets the mech out of the action as well, and that'll reset the attackers one more time as Black Serpiente takes the Baby Diva in midair.
This is they're running out of time. Ack Insanity had such a great initial hold on this. To only come this far and lose it just because they couldn't capture would be just a pain and unfortunate loss here. Black Serpentine does have Graviton Surge, and that's big enough to win it. Maybe if you're Limerence and keep this holding, so we'll have to see what happens when that grab comes out, Corvette.
Well, a Purple Kiwi here on the choke does have the duplicate. The jump will come in. Duplicate has to come out at some point in time. Just waiting for the shield to drop. High Noon comes in. It's boosted as well by the gate, but that shield will hold firm, and nobody's foolish enough to peek it. It's Cal, has no choice but to throw it away. A Purple Kiwi does have the shatter on the duplicate right now. Surging forward with this dupe. Has to get something in. Throws it. Gets a bunch with it. What is the follow-up there? Birdroy and Monster getting early picks. Elbow back and slapping back. Oh, they're still going. Birdroy swinging away, but Birdroy is getting burned down here. Birdroy, the last defender, the lone valiant Reinhardt, can't make it stick. At the absolute last second, Ack Insanity will turn this around and make it a 2-1 match.
I was really worried there, Corbeck, for Ack Insanity. You worked so hard to get there, to run this back, and what could have been a very, very disastrous Anubis for you. You turned it around in the last second, and good on them for that, because that's what you need. That's how you need to keep yourself alive in this, especially as this third seed who's maybe looking at like the underdog pick here. But Ack Insanity came in, fought well, used their ults, played smart, and we're going into the next round with a 2-up on the third seed.
Yeah, it was a bit of a sloppy match from Limerence. I don't think they ever really found exactly what they wanted to. They had a couple of big plays from their GPS that kind of propelled them to victory, but other than that, maybe a little bit of drift there on Anubis, but that is done and dusted. We can put the horrors of 2CB behind us. We'll be right back in a minute. We're just going to take a brief intermission here, but we'll be right back with more action in this PlayStation EU Tier 4 Grand Finals. Don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the PlayStation EU Tier 4 Grand Finals here at the Console Gaming League. I'm Corbeck, joined in the casting booth by Soa and Danon, with Headrammer handling our production. And it's an exciting matchup here between Limerence WGA and Ack Insanity. Ack Insanity going up 2-1 in the series here as we get ready to start on Rialto. And Soav, it has been a heater of a match so far.
It absolutely has. It's been back and forth from both of these teams, just throwing slugs, throwing bombs, throwing everything they've got. We've seen everything. We've seen 4K Diva bombs. We've seen EMPs get canceled. This has been a great match, and what a better match. We couldn't ask for a better one to close out this Tier 4 series, I think, Corbeck.
Yeah, well, I think both teams are ready, so we'll go ahead and jump straight into Rialto here. We've delayed long enough before getting back into the action, but now we were just talking in the break about kind of like what the difference was between these two teams, and what do you think we're going to see here on Rialto? Because this is still a close one, right? This scoreline, This is not a runaway by any sense.
Oh, no. Limerence has really shown that they are just better at this brawl. It's where they thrive, and you can run that here in Rialto, but Ack Insanity's dive has just looked incredibly crisp and clean, and the picks that have come in are just really, really good. So you can also have that here. You do have some high ground you can control. This one's, I think, almost near a coin flip. We'll have to see what can come out. There's a chance we see some Widows or an Ashes. We do have a lot of range. Monster are going to opt for that Widow initially, yeah. There's a chance we see those long-range things, and if so, you have to be aware of that dive, because you know that they'll just come onto you, and if there's the pressure there, well, you hope the rest of your team is ready to peel for you.
What's interesting here is Cal is taking up the Hanzo duties, and Monster is playing the Widowmaker, and we did see, Monster being an absolute monster on Hanzo earlier on in the match. So maybe he's just the better Widowmaker player out of the two of them, I guess. I don't know why I would say almost put him on Hanzo just by default, but there's a strat, I'm sure.
Monster has been kind of more of the hit scan player for the most part, aside from the Doomfist, and I think this is probably their choice. Maybe this is a fake out. They haven't really moved. Okay, they are going to live on it, but yeah, I agree with you. I would think you'd put Monster on that, and maybe there's something else, but I don't think you're disappointed with either of those. Let's see what they can do on it. The Tracer elbow baggins on the other side, you're not too worried about. That's pretty far for the course, so we'll see what happens when they go into these and the dive comes in. Perfect.
Monster already gets a really good position here, but the dive is waiting to push in on them. Thankfully, kind of preempted right there by Serpiente, who just goes up and causes some havoc. An anti-nade does come in there and clip the Reinhardt, but they're more than happy to continue pushing this card right up to blue corner, in fact. Monster yet really to find any joy here on the Widowmaker, though. Just can't seem to quite get a target. Cal getting pressured now. I think that was a Tracer who dropped in there and caused a little bit of havoc. It's Cal now looking up to the high ground, puts in an arrow or two into the face of the Diva, Serpiente, but no luck. Or Serpiente up there now as well, trying to contest, but really no picks on either side. Good anti-nade here. That's going to force Cal back just a little bit. Excelsior on the high ground, as well as Uncrowned King. The two of them will drop down very briefly, just contesting this point from high ground, as is tradition. They got the sleep. Oh no, Monster is taken out, but Cal's traded it out almost immediately. My ult account is down as well, and a big anti-nade coming in on Uncrowned there. Uncrowned falling back there. Has no choice but to get out of dodge. He'll actually be taken down. Mercy One Trick gets taken down here as well, and the point kind of opens up. Ack Insanity does not have the resources to contest.
It was very good patient play from Limerence. They played in their angles. They knew the dive could collapse on either of those snipers at any point. Monster going to give it up and go back to that Doomfist that they're so keen to. Maybe looking to get a little more aggressive into that brawl.
Well, Nano boosted Winston in here, but the bomb sailing back gets Mercy One Trick, takes them out of the action right away, and there will be no back quarter. Uncrowned Knight gets taken down as well. Purple Kiwi with the clone gets a bad shatter in. The res does get Uncrowned King back into the action as well. It's Cal trying to claw this one back from the brink, but the second shatter! Purple Kiwi going off, elbow baggins there.
They did get the point though. They did cap the point there. It was all for naught, unfortunately, Corbeck. It was so great cool. Play. It was fantastic play, but it's just unfortunately, it was all for naught, and Limerence will continue to push.
Just Doofus comes catapulting through the air right there. Elbow Baggins almost surprised to see a Doofus flying. Takes some shots and finishes building up that pulse bomb. They will now have that in the pocket, but as you said, Ack Insanity on the back foot just a little bit. They'll have to jump in and recontest this card at some point in time. But Monster goes down early. It's a great play by Kiwi. Again, Kiwi on the Echo has been doing great work, but Elbow gets picked and with the pulse bomb as well. The Steven bomb, though, speaking of bombs, sails right over the top and gets Cal out of the action. Oh, it's a trade out right there, but Burnroy pushing forward, trying to create space, maybe stabilize the line a little bit. Winner comes in, bomb on the other side as well. Nothing coming out of that as the Nano Boosted Diva begins to push forward here. Oh no, Nano Boosted Tracer, my apologies. Tracer firing away, doesn't really find any picks with it, but certainly does a lot of damage. It's Cal, gets with the Dragons, he gets 2, Elbow Baggins is out of it, now Monster gets in as well. And it's a sudden spike of DPS that we're so used to seeing here from Limerence that makes the difference.
Yeah, it was a long fight there, and Monster just gonna peek up and stall a little for time. They didn't commit too much into that, but they managed to play a patient fight, get the picks they needed, and win it. As they come forward, Ack is gonna look to recontest there, moving on to Elbow onto the McCree. I guess not having that Doomfist anymore.
Elbow gets a big meaty hit right there, but it's a great anti-nade into a fire strike for Burnroy to just get multiple picks, and then again the 2 DPS there to seal it out. And they are just swimming along here on Rialto.
Well, that fight was over quicker than we thought it was going to be. That was the biggest biggest fire strike you could have asked, and Burnroy didn't have to even extend that fire strike or that Earth Shadow there for it. Nothing really on the side of Ack Insanity, but that ult economy. They're going to swap an Elbow, go into the Mei now. A little bit questionable. You might have wanted that. The whole changes into giving up the Echo. You had to give it to Purple Kiwi, I guess, there, but these changes might be a little too late here, Corbeck.
Burnroy gets the shatter, does get the shatter out, really only gets the negative hits. They did invest the sound barrier, I think, on that one. No, they didn't invest the sound barrier, they did invest the immortality field. Bomb comes sailing over the back edge now. Unfortunately, no luck out of the bomb either, but a Purple Kiwi here doing all the work in the front line, getting them big kills, trying to go for Monster, but he's punched into a door before he can make anything stick. Monster, under serious pressure, will get hunted down and burned out. And they will finally stop this steamroller of attack.
You had to put the resources into stopping Monster on this Doomfist in that Maycree there. Granted, it's also a pretty comfortable thing for you if you're Ack Insanity, but it's also bad. It's just bad news for Monster. There's a lot of things going on. They are coming into the Meteor Strike though. Both DPS supports, both DPS ults online. So we'll see if that makes the difference as this fight starts.
Cal does have the Dragons here if they choose to use it. Just putting damage down Choke. There's the Dragons from the flank right there with the good Dragons too. With the tanks off, the pressure does come in right away. Monster now with that ult drops in on the backside. Immortality field saves the day right there. As Monster sails back out.
It was the right play.
Broken up just a little bit. Yeah, it was the right play indeed. Purple Kiwi just backing up here. Oh, Nano Boosted right hard grab coming in. Sound barrier comes out. High noon on the other side. Purple Kiwi can't find anything with it. Serpiente the casualty right there, and a lot of ults invested right there. So well, not a lot of traction out of it yet.
I heard the Blizzard committed too, and I'm not even sure where it ended up. It might have gotten eaten, but it looks like it just got lost everything, and the Fire Strike should have come out and just take Purple Kiwi. That's a big loss for them.
Burnroy still alive, still taking the sound barrier. Did come out there from Tipper to keep this fight going for as long as possible. Burnroy just swinging away at the Diva Mech, battering it into submission, but unfortunately it does not happen. The spawn advantage there, saving Ack Insanity from near certain disaster.
And they burn a lot of time off the clock on that too. You've given yourself a little bit of a contest spot, and you can kind of go. Elbow gonna swap back. They're gonna swap back to that Maycree, I think, because they have the ability to. They didn't really get any ults. Cal's still sitting on Dragons though. Might be the difference. I don't know about the Brigitte. You might be low healing going into this last fight, Corbeck.
Yes, on tank again as they'll put it through the doors, but it's a Diva Bomb to start things off. Here gets one, Cal! Oh no, Cal had Dragons as well, and they'll lose their other DPS at the very beginning of this as well. Everybody back up.
Oh no.
Run. They will get caught out here. The Mei wall comes in. No survivors. It's the Mei motto.
You know, that in a way, that's not the worst thing. You can still kind of recover this. You have time for one more fight. It happened quick enough. Then maybe you can turn around. You didn't invest anything. Limerence still has one more shot to do this. They have 3 ults on their line, and that gives them a chance to maybe push this the rest of the way on OT. They have to make a big play here, Corbeck, and it has to be gigantic.
Well, Dragons waiting to be unleashed. They hungry. They want them picks, and they'll fire it. Oh, nope. He holds off on it, fires that instead, goes for the flank Dragons, going right down the middle. It's actually a really well-placed Dragons. Immortality Field pushed out again. Immortality Field destroyed here. There's the kill. Ultimate count goes down. Now Reinhardt pushes up into the gap. Now the kills flying fast and furious here for Limerence as Burnboy does get taken down in the midst of all of that. But still, they don't even need him. The team's got enough to do the work, and they will finally get through in overtime.
And that was the confusion that you needed for Monster to really peak on that Doomfist. The Dragons, and you forced Immortality Field out too. You're fine losing the Dragons because it created that split and that rift that really gave Monster the chance to isolate and get those picks. And you could just see it through the kill feed there. They got it to the end on OT, and you're happy if you're Limerence, but you've got a big ask in holding ACK Insanity at this point back.
Yeah, certainly your work is cut out for you right here. And, I mean, they did get it all the way, right? They got it all the way in overtime, which is good. You know, you want to get it even if it is in overtime. But we'll see here now what the other side chooses to bring out. And Elbow showing us a Pharah here.
Pharah? Yeah.
That could be interesting.
I like it. It's a good pick. We may not see this. Elbow does have a decent Pharah. We saw that. If you ever looked, if you can remember many weeks ago in week 1, no, they're gonna go to the May though. Just messing around. Yeah, the Makery is pretty good for them. It paid off. If they think Monster's still gonna be on that Doomfist, yeah, I think you like that a little better. But on the other side for Limerence, probably Makery. Monster's still deciding. The last time we did this, they popped off on Hanzo, so maybe this is some sort, maybe this is a predictor, who knows, but gonna stay on that Doomfist. That's worked out pretty well for them on the whole.
Like you said, so if they can create the chaos, right, Monster is capable of getting the picks.
Oh yeah, 100%. They've proven that in the previous ones too.
This is a difficult comp for a Doomfist to run into, to be honest, with
Yeah.
both the McCree and the May here. And they'll push up to the first corner of death. Good wall coming in there. They don't really get any kills out of it because the counter wall comes up and Burnroy comes forward and takes off the count out of the equation.
Yeah.
And it's just everybody back up.
Yep, reset. Alt account fell pretty quickly. Let's just reset. Oh no! Oh, what happened there?
I think Monster might have just escorted New York Excelsior off the edge of the map.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's a reset. You didn't spend a lot of time. Not the worst loss. Try again. That wasn't your first one. They're gonna come out on again. There's the Ana Baptiste difference here that could be the big difference maker between these teams having Immortality Field available. Not to mention Window, which ACK Insanity already basically has online. There it is.
They push up to the blue corner here where so many fights on this first point do go. Monster comes in and gets an initial bit of damage. Purple Kiwi throws out the flash, gets nothing. The Immortality Field invested here as well. Burnroy shatters underneath the cart. Unfortunately, only gets the Diva, but that's more than enough there. They will actually take New York Excelsior back out of the equation to start things off. Burnroy chucking in another fire strike. They throw out the Maywall one more time. The Reinhardt slips around it. Oh, nearly charges off the edge of the map. He charges back in. Safety was in sight for Uncrowned King, but he came forward the hunt for glory.
Limerence has been playing this very well. They're isolating. They're getting these players, you know, isolated using that Maywall. And Cal has been a star on this May the whole time through. And with Blizzard active, we can see what they really do. We could see us, you know, the old slam into the Blizzard here, Corbeck. And I don't know about you, but that would be an interesting pairing I've not seen in quite some time.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think I can even think of the last time that I saw that. A Purple Kiwi here on the Echo, just putting in some early poke damage, as Echoes are wont to do. A Pharah here from Elbow Baggins as well, so the Air Force coming in, full stop, and Monster dies for it. Mercy one trick there, cleaning up the kill. The sound barrier is invested here as a little bit of a father or mother-daughter fight right there going on the back line, but again, the kills in the front line are what really matters, and Burnroy, with a little bit of help from Tipper here, is just completely reset the ship. And despite the pressure that they're putting in from the Sky Swab, they will lose this fight.
On paper, ACK Insanity should have won that. There's no contest versus either of those flyers, and Limerence just really just showing they want to control this fight, and they're not going to go down without a big fight here. Moving as Uncrowned King moves on to that Wrecking Ball, maybe just to get a little more space for it. I like the dive from them. I think this is going to be better for them.
Well, again, the dive does come in from Elbow, looking for a target. The Maywall coming in there kind of awkwardly placed, and Elbow will finally get some kills there. Mercy one trick again, striking early, manages to pick off Burnroy. And with the pressure of that Reinhardt out of the equation, Elbow Baggins just backing everybody up right here, taking a lot of damage for it, but the Mercy pocket is there. A great effort by my alt account to keep him alive. The bomb does come in, the sound barrier is invested, so that'll neutralize most of that. Elbow Baggins caught looking there. Monster comes back on the Widowmaker and starts clicking some heads.
I didn't even see that change come in. I didn't even think they would give that up. They were playing so well in the Doomfist, but it was the right call. Tipper's gonna just take out my alt account, and this is just gonna slow us down before the end of it. There may be a chance that Limerence holds this off right before point A, Corbeck.
But Cal does go down there, was caught, kind of walled themselves in a room with the D.Va and died. Elbow Baggins now coming back in, does have the barrage. They do have the duplicate here as well. Purple Kiwi does go for the duplicate. Clone for Reinhardt gets shattered immediately. Purple Kiwi still up as the barrage is unleashed. Unfortunately, the barrage really gets nothing out of that. The duplicate not getting a lot of value either because the grab does come in and holds them up. Serpiente, though, dies for that grab. The Blizzard now being dropped point blank on the top.
The Blizzard gets eaten!
Excelsior with absolute hero play saves his team from almost near certain disaster.
That's the clutch play you need out of your off tank when you know you're coming up against a Mei. So, and again, when you're signing those thank you cards, remember to add a note for NY Excelsior too, because that's keeping you into this, and that gives you a new life, 2 minutes on the clock, and another chance at this. I like this dive out of Ack Insanity. They've shown that they can do this, and that this is how they win. If they keep this pressure up, they can move this to another time around here.
Quite literally. So I think if that Blizzard had gone down, they would not have won that point. So that was about as clutch as you could hope for from a D.Va at any given time. And a little bit of a high ground hold being attempted right here. It's Cal, just wants to peek that corner, but the Echo is already peeking the corner that wants to be peeked. Now they'll just move into the top of the Opera House here. The Flash Hammer coming in there, unfortunately does not secure the kill. The ball just a little bit too much health. Elbow Baggins up here in the tight quarters of the Opera House as well, but it's Kiwi who strikes first. Managed to take Serpiente out of the equation early on. No more D.Va on that side. The mines do come in, and it is nice to see an It's Cal's chance to be back sent into the spawn doors. They'll just push up there on Burnroy all alone, and he will go down.
Purple Kiwi just cleaning up there, and Ack Insanity is really taking control of this. You forced Limerence off of their comfort picks as they're just going to roll this into B, and this is exactly what you want if you're Ack Insanity. You're playing your game with things you're comfortable in, and your opponent just has no real answers for it. There's 2 to 3 things on the field for these flyers, but nothing. They're just not completing those kills. Monster, not sure. Gonna get the Widow, gonna go to the Ashe instead. Yeah, you need to find something that's an answer, and Monster needs to come up big with it.
Elbow peeks, well, more jumps around the corner, takes a significant amount of damage, but is kept alive. Alt account pocket, keeping him in the equation with a little bit of bonus healing there as well. The barrage is here. The high noon does come out. That will maybe shut things down in terms of the aerial assault for just a moment, and sure enough, it forces Purple Kiwi to the ground where the wings are plucked. They're looking for the pick on the ball if they can find it, but they do not find it, but they will stop the attack.
No, a little too mobile for this slightly slower brawl comp, and that's fine. You've got a couple minutes on the clock. You know you can push this the rest of the way. You're coming into some ults on your end. You have mines, you have duplicate coming up, which there's ults on both sides, but you feel comfortable in your dive and you can take this.
Well, Cal trying to take a couple of early cracks right there. Uncrowned King does have the minefield in. Will try and drop it in front of the doors, but I think he gets done. He loses.
He lost it to the stun again.
Burnroy now in the front line. Drives forward into the enemy team, is just pounding away with that hammer, and on the back of another stunned ult.
Cal is just canceling ults. He canceled the EMP. He cancels those mines. What a clutch play from your McCree, and you can't ask for a better moment for that as we're coming into one fight territory, Corbeck. They spent so much trying to just win that, and now as Elbow Baggins goes over to the Ashe, there's not a lot they have. They only have that window versus the Graviton Surge and Sound Barrier, and there's just not enough answers on this.
Wow, yeah, that was really something. Cal does have high noon in the pocket, could use it at any given point in time here. Sound barrier from Tipper here as well to just keep things level, keep the fight going. Window does come out. The temptation had to be there to use the sound barrier, but he'll hold on to it wisely and just amp healing. He'll save it. Instead, for this opportunity to get really aggressive into this grab, and the cleanup is just there.
Yes.
Limerence playing that so well.
Yes, a Tipper, credit to Tipper there. It was so tempting to say, let's sound barrier here. No, instead he used it aggressively when they knew that Graviton Surge came out to just go in and win it, and this is going to give them the match here. There's going to be some contests, maybe you get something in, but that's going to be the end of it, Corbeck.
Yeah, Diva can't even get there and drop the bomb in time, and Limerence really showing some chops, showing that they're not out of this one yet. They fight right back on that, so
No, that was smart play by Limerence across the board, especially when you might have looked at them on that first defense there and thought maybe they just weren't going to be able to do it. They're showing you why they're the #1 seed, and they refuse to give that up. As we tie, we go back to 5. We're going around again, Corbeck. We're going to see the full 7.
Yeah, we sure are. Good thing I definitely breakfast before this broadcast. Because it would really suck if I was hungry right now. But no, it's super exciting stuff, and I'm so glad to be here for it. I mean, these two teams have just been neck and neck, and we have seen all sorts of crazy stuff. We've seen the DPS fighting back, right? We've seen great plays from the tank lines, the supports doing spectacular job right there, really good heads up plays, and we've seen it's Cal with these crazy stuns. I don't actually think that I have ever seen a hamster get stunned out of minefield in that fashion in my entire life.
I'm sure it's happened, but I've never seen it either. And the fact that they've gotten 2, because I believe it was Cal also who got the EMP. I want to know what this man eats and sleeps that is so good on McCree, because I would love to do that. And it looks like, Corbeck, we're going back to, this is Nepal?
Oasis?
This is Oasis. Sorry, Oasis. Sorry, I want to go to Nepal. That's my fault.
Yeah, that's okay. Not a lot of cars up there in the mountains, so they have a difficulty, the snow and whatnot.
Of course. But yeah, we're going to Oasis, and I like it. There's a little bit of chance for everything. The dive can shine here. There's a couple of maps for that. There's a big brawl map. This is going to be I don't know who to put my money on here, Corbeck, because this could go either way for this map 5.
Yeah, these two teams not showing any signs of slowing down. The slugfest continues. The teams have given us the ready up, so we will hop into Oasis here and keep this match burning. And we will see what Oasis has in store for us. Oasis, Sanctuary, right in the desert. Maybe somebody, it's going to be Sanctuary for somebody, at least briefly. Give them that advantage and put them on match point. But I'm in the same boat as you, Shoam. I just don't know who to pick.
I think it's going to depend on the individual maps here. This is a map that favors dive, controlling that high ground, be it just with your tanks and the Winston Diva ball, or getting, a McCree or somebody up there. I don't know. I don't even know if I still favor the dive team here, because this is still so much. Both of these teams having such incredible players, and we'll have to see what they open up with to really get the full picture here, Corbeck.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've definitely seen a situation, right, in which Limerence is maybe just more of a straight brawl team, right, across the board, and ACK is showing more flexibility. They're more comfortable running that dive. But again, it's not really given them a huge advantage, as the scoreline shows, right? And I would say, on balance, I feel like ACK as a team is collectively playing a little bit better, but Limerence just has these moments where they get these absolute monster plays, no pun intended, that just kind of save the day.
Yeah, and it's Cal moving on to the Sombra, which I think we've seen briefly, not too much success. Elbow on that signature tracer there, and this classic dive going to come in and be very, very big. We'll see if Elbow can go bother and harass the backline of Limerence here.
Elbow definitely trying to do that, but the wall of Sombra right there meets them, and unfortunately not able to push past it. Elbow will finally get in, now has a McCree to contend with, but a purple Kiwi strikes early and strikes hard. That's it, Cal taken out of the equation. Elbow Baggins gets the better of their opposite number as well, but a purple Kiwi is charged out by Burnroy. Might be a little too late here, but Burnroy, don't tell him that. He's gonna come straight forward out of the point. Hammer swinging, looking for a pick and nearly finding one there. Elbow Baggins down to a scanty 16 health. They continue now to fight on the point. Uncrowned King just going up to the high ground because looking for anything that they can get, pressuring it's Cal again. Cal will be kept up to all of this. Meanwhile, Burnroy and Tipper once more combining for a little bit of a double act to clear some space. The stun coming out there from Monster. Finished by Monster. Monster gets 2, and Burnroy knocks Winston into the ground to secure the point.
ACK looks like they had it there for the brief moment. It looked like it was in their order. They had initial picks, but Limerence just refusing to go down, and that's the difference between this Brawl comp that's playing a little bit more countery to that. A Purple Kiwi going to give up the Echo, go to that McCree, and yeah, you're probably a little concerned about that Sombra at this point now that they've shown it, but there's a couple key ults online. Oh, there's a couple key ults online here, and Elbow's going to go down.
It's Cal. A little bit of revenge there for the early pick in the last fight, and Shatter falling all sorts of weird stuff coming in there on the front line. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I do know that the kills are going in favor of Limerence as you see a Purple Kiwi just hunted down, and we do have a pause.
We do have a pause. The DC is that's likely going to be that. Yeah, there it is. But that's okay. I think that's fine. You know, you give both teams a minute to kind of gather themselves as this comes in, and no one wants the DC, but it is what it is. But you have this moment to kind of reflect on what you've seen so far, Corbeck. You can think about what's coming up, where you've been, what's been shown to you, and what do you do as this next fight in, because that Sombra coming into the EMP is going to be big when we come back into this, and both teams need the fight to go their way. They really just do. I mean, this is now on the wire.
Yeah, it is legitimately one of the most devastating ults in the game, right? I mean,
yeah,
there's not about it in terms of sheer just kind of power. I don't necessarily know what ult that I would really put above it what it enables. So you have to play with that consideration in mind, and you're already kind of back-footed right here. You know, that's the problem.
Yeah,
ACK has put a lot of pressure on to start things off.
Yeah, and that's the aggression that's got them here, though, right? That level of just being able to brawl and take the fights at their pace has really kind of do it. They create the chaos, and Monster just moves in and wins in it. As long as Monster's left uncontested, they're just going to keep winning. And Limerence has been usually pretty good about that, especially given that they're playing this very disruptive dive. But it's been struggling here on this first map, and they need to tighten it up a little bit. You know, the first fight, they did get picks, but it was kind of just a mess of, all right, let's poke from different angles, maybe we get a pick, and then move in. And they need to be a little more cohesive if they're gonna make this dive work, I think, Corbeck.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we saw an effort by Elbow, right, to kind of just keep attention from Monster and just kind of keep that pressure up on the back line to force the McCree to respond, right? I think we saw that a lot. But, I mean, again, when Elbow got taken out early by It's Cal, it was just the start of disaster, right? They don't have the Tracer. Suddenly, there's a lot more room for Monster to play in, and Burnroy more than happy to take the space that's being created, right? Then Reinhardt will just keep going, and Burnroy is legitimately a tank, right? He just keeps surging forward. Anyway, we're back into the action here, and Black Serpiente starts us off by losing their mech, but not before getting the kill there. Oh, Pulse Bomb does come in, and that's Monster taken out of the equation. Elbow Baggins striking back, and now Altacal finishes off the Baby Diva, so some picks coming in big here. Might allow him to just kind of push this power play for a second. Elbow Baggins firing into the shield of the Reinhardt's going to deep around the outside edge and start pushing onto those supports. The Ana engages with the duel briefly, but Burnroy leveling things up on the front line. Tries to get another one in. Burnroy has to throw the shield up, won't sell the support, though, as Excelsior gets another big bomb to seal the deal. Burnroy just trying to hold on here again. The Reinhardt there finally gets some backup from Black Serpiente. They don't have any healing here, though. The McCree is here now. Monster on the back line trying to go keep it alive, but Burnroy will get turned down. It's really just desperation touch here, so Evan, it is over.
Yeah, but that's what you wanted. You're just desperation touching to get it to one fight. You've saved a couple ults in there, and it's just so unfortunate that Burnroy made that much. Burnroy put in such an effort to only have it undone by the loss of their supports from that Diva Bomb from New York Excelsior. But you have to be aware of that. Your positioning needs to be good, and Tipper, nice to see you. Just maybe got caught out a little bit, unfortunately, there. The Cal's still holding on to this EMP, and that could just be the thing that tips us right back to them, though.
Cal really looking for the opportunity to use the EMP, too. You can just see Sombra skulking in the back line here, looking for the back up a little bit, and really taking their sweet time about it as the High Noon does come in. On the other side, that is now Purple Kiwi. Unfortunately, won't find anyone with it. But the EMP yet to be used. It's Cal. Still here, still watching.
They're waiting. Everybody's so just spread out. There's no good points to go for. There it is. They've decided it. It's go time.
It is go time indeed. Monster goes up to the high ground, and the EMP is invested, and will. Might want to uninvest that. The stock market crashed a little bit right there for EMPs. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you might want the refund there. Unfortunate. Woo. I just don't think there was follow-up though. I think Monster was trying to go for a follow-up there. We kind of glimpsed it in the shoot, the launch pad there. I think they were trying to go for a follow-up high noon, but it just didn't come because they were distracted by New York Excelsior, who's been keeping very, very good tracks on both Cal and Monster, and there it is. Yeah.
Cal goes down, and Serpiente gets taken out of the equation here to start things off. Shatter does come in. There goes the fire strike. Alt account cleaning up 2 on the back of all that madness.
Yeah, and, you couldn't ask more to your Lucio.
No, you really couldn't.
Anybody
Ack Insanity just putting the gas on here, not giving him any room, and there's nobody to contest.
That's the smart play. It's when you want to push up, is when you know you kind of could win the fight if you keep them from it. That's a smart play from them, and it was the right call there. But it almost didn't get there. Ack Insanity started that fight down and just almost never made it back. So they kind of have to keep themselves grounded if they want to keep this going and take this map, Corbeck.
Yeah, I mean, even with the DC, that is a very good point. Even with the DC8, Anthony managed to turn that one around. And yeah, Limerence maybe a little wrong-footed right there. I just don't think they ever really got a chance to execute their game plan. So
no, and they're gonna start on this. They're that Maycree, that was the game plan that's worked a little bit. I'm kind of surprised they didn't take the Doomfist here. You do want a little control on that high ground, but it looks like Limerence gonna come out on that Maycree, and the Reaper on the side of Ack Insanity, maybe expecting the Winston to try to punish that.
Was good Maywall in there for top high ground immediately. Cal does get picked. Yeah, booped off and brought down. Excelsior there with the kind of the pressure, the boopage, the pressure, the boop. Oh, and they'll just keep pounding this front line as well. Burnroy does go down. They trade Reinhardt's here, but a Purple Kiwi does have almost uncontested control of the high ground right now on the McCree, so the hit scan should start working there. And even as I say it, he's forced to roll off of it. A little curse there. As the Zarya, that will be Black Serpiente, moves up to the high ground and pushes him right back out. And the rest of them will just kind of back up here and then try and recontest. Yeah, this fight really not clearing. Serpiente tries to clear a little bit of space. Being clear, can't quite fight it. A window does come in here. They'll just rotate around the pillar, and Monster gets taken out the back line by Elbow. Baggins ult account with a big boop. Oh, the Lucio has really been popping on this one. The Frog is jumping, hipping, and hopping. So
they managed to keep that fight around in this very, very extended fight, Corbeck. And it looks like the cleanup's just going to come in from Excelsior across the board there. And they have to reset because Limerence needs to get something going. They have ultimates coming online, but they just aren't fighting as a full team. Now is not the time to let that happen. You need to buckle down and play together because you're coming in. You have ult advantage here, but you do have a couple problems on the side of that Reaper and the McCree there, who's really just been a bit of a pest. Purple Kiwi really asserting their dominance on that hit scan.
Monster just wants to go. I mean, he got 2 picks there in the rotation. Oh, he nearly gets booped as well. Oh, it's Cal here, though. Inside, Bomb does come in. Ice block. Nice to see that. Great grab here as well. It's shattered out. Burnboy goes down to the shatter. Oh, no. Uncrowned King now surging forward. A little bit of a Death Blossom thrown in here, too, by Elbow Baggins to clean up some of these kills. And Limerence is just getting beaten in the paint.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. When your shield breaks the shatter, you can't do much about that. Monster are going to take the swap to Doomfist. I don't know that this is a good choice, but it might also be a little bit too late for it. The Reaper really looking for a snack on that Doomfist if Monster doesn't pay too much attention, though. So we'll see what it is. Cal going to go over to McCree. Bit more of a comfort pick for both of them, as they need to get comfortable on this point, Corbeck.
Monster is an absolute magician on the Doomfist as high noons are kind of thrown out here. Purple Kiwi does get one. The Fan the Hammer kill comes in, and that's Burnroy taken out tier 2. And it looks like ACK Insanity is just going to hold this down and give Limerence no room to grow, and they will indeed put this a match point in their favor.
I don't think Limerence was expecting that Reaper there. I think that really they were expecting a couple different things, and that Reaper was not one of them. And now they have that problem to deal with of how do we break through this now? We can't just walk in. We can't win the Rhine fight. So how do we go about this? And with a purple Kiwi just kind of left to fire off and click those heads, it just paid off in their favor, Corbeck.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the other thing too is I think we ever really saw ACK. Yeah. I just don't think we ever saw Limerence's DPS doing anything to ACK. They were just kind of held in check that entire map. And as we've been saying throughout the series, when Limerence's DPS are kind of the engine, right? They're driving a lot of these teams. Their team fights. They're getting a lot of these big kills. I mean, Monster securing a 4K, right? Pushes Anubis onwards. That sort of stuff. Just not there on Oasis. Just not there.
I wonder if are you running out of gas if you're Limerence? Maybe you've asked too much of your star DPS players right now, and if that's the case, you need to find a solution to it, because now is not the time to be running out of gas as you move on to our next map. It's match point, like you said, and you need to come up with something. It's your pick, so come up with something that's going to play well into those things you're comfortable on. That Doomfist, that McCree, that have been very, very good to you and enable your DPS to pop off. Find that map and find that group play that's gotten you here. Otherwise, we're just going to see this close out and the third seed coming out on top.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of running out of gas, we're going to take a brief break here to refuel, but we're right back. It's match point, ACK Insanity 3, Limerence 2 here in the PlayStation EU Tier 4 Grand Finals. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the PlayStation EU Tier 4 Grand Finals here at the Console Gaming League. It's an absolute scorcher of a matchup. ACK Insanity 3, Limerence WGA 2. I'm Corbeck, joined in the casting booth by Soab, with the wonderful Headrammer handling our production. And Soab, we were saying it was going to be a good match at the beginning, and it has not disappointed.
No, we have been blessed with some great Overwatch today. Even more so, because the last time we saw these two teams back in week 1, we were looking down the barrel of Limerence coming out on top. And now this time around, ACK Insanity's not going to let that happen. They are match point, and they have been looking pretty good, all things considered, through all of their picks as we move to this next hybrid map.
Yeah, and the next hybrid map will be Blizzard World, so a little trip to the amusement park here, and it'll be amusing for one side, not so much for the other. ACK Insanity, like you said, they just want to put this one to bed. Limerence, on the other hand, well, oof, they've got to claw it back, right, and push it off to the fabled map. So we'll see if they can do that. I think 6, yeah, math, not my strong suit.
It's okay. Don't think about economics again. It's okay. We don't have to think about that. We're fine. Let's go to Blizzard World. We can enjoy the nice rides. Look at Pylon Terrace. It's beautiful. Get a bite to eat. Not think about, the any of the other things happening, all the negative things about math. Remember, imaginary numbers can't hurt you.
Oh, they can. My report card in high school.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyway, speaking of scores, we are getting the teams here in the arcade. So how about that for transition, right? Elbow Baggins coming out on that Reaper. And a purple Kiwi will be on the McCree here to start us off. Meanwhile, on the other side, they're showing a little bit of dive on the side of Limerence, which maybe not super surprising. They liked it.
But it didn't really pay off for them, Corbeck. They tried this on Anubis, and Elbow really displeased with that particular bucket, but it didn't really work out for them. They only ended up really taking Anubis when they were able to kind of switch to that brawl and go, but they're looking fully committed, and we're seeing nice to see on the Zenyatta first time we've seen the Zenyatta all game. I think I like it. I think that Discord could be the difference maker here.
Indeed. Well, Monster on the Doomfist. Serpiente now on this ball is going to look to try and set up some sort of opportunity. Okay, we'll pretend we didn't see that. He rolled cleanly through that archway as it's Cal begins the poke phase with a good poking from the high ground right there, looking for any sort of damage they can just get to start things off. 16% of the team hit probably was a little bit of a charge. The dive now coming in. The Winston over the top. The Monster Doomfist coming in. Burnroy getting dangerously low, but it'll be Monster who dies first. caught looking by New York Excelsior. It's Cal goes super low as well, and it's everybody back to the spawn. Let's just rethink this for a second.
But Mercy One Trick did manage to kind of put that fight away by the use of Immortality Field. They'll come into it late this next fight, but that's fine. And it looks like they're gonna make some changes. Serpentine going over to that signature Zarya. Okay, I thought we were gonna see Orisa there. Little concerned, and this is what I would have expected out of Limerence. This is more of what I was expecting to see.
Oh yeah, they back to the brawl. Oh no, nice to see you. Was traffic there that entire time. We had no idea. Omnic down in the back, and that's one support that they're not going to have when they begin this push. And now they're just kind of trapped in the entryway here, not really knowing whether to go forward or wait.
Maybe you could have gotten your Zen out if you had, you know, he floats. He's not making too much noise. Maybe you could have snuck him out the back somehow, or maybe pushed the fight and met him halfway. But it's time, and they're gonna take that brawl right in.
Oh, there's a window right in front of him. It's a good wall there. I think just to try and disrupt that. Unfortunately, Cal forced into the ice block. Probably won't make their alive. They do just get behind the shield. That was very close indeed. Unfortunately, Monster, the other DPS, the casualty right there, and Limerence is watching their hopes of a championship drain away inch by bloody inch here on Blizzard World.
And this was, Ack Insanity has done it. They've cracked the how do we stop monsters Doomfist. They brought in the Reaper, they brought in the McCree with a high noon coming in big, and that was it. Perfect.
Purple Kiwi just backs him right up there, gets a lot of it as well. But Purple Kiwi does die. Monster comes sailing in and gets the pick of the counter there. So they are even in this fight if they so choose. And Monster trying a little bit of tag, not quite hitting it again. And that didn't happen because all this pressure on the point. A great anti-nade, a great shatter from Burnroy as well. And this is the sudden surge and unstoppable violence we've seen from Limerence all night long. And it will secure them the point.
Monster opened up that pick, and it took a little. But they eventually got there. The big shatter from Burnroy helped, and that nice to see his big anti-nade came through in the end there to really push it and kind of cement it home. 3 minutes on the clock. They've got some time to work with, and they are in a comfortable position. Cal over onto the Mei now. Looks very, very good for Limerence. This looks like where they want to be, and especially with the ult on their board, they can keep this rolling pretty well.
Yeah, Limerence doing a great job with the sudden spike as per. Serpiente does have this grab if they choose to use it. Has to pop the personal force field right there. Bomb comes sailing in. That's a well-placed bomb, and it will see a nice to see ya. Was not happy to see that sailing towards them. Now the kill is starting to stack up in favor of the defenders. Ack Insanity more than happy to clean up those picks.
It was a well-placed bomb. There was not many places nice to see it. Probably could have hide given the position. We couldn't really see it, but I'm sure they just didn't have the place to go to it. So well-placed, and New York Excelsior has been very, very good on that D.Va all match for the most part. Winning that fight with just 1 ult.
Well, Cal is here. Cal does have the Blizzard. They do have a grab as well. They'll throw up the Mei wall there, I think, just to counteract the window just a little bit. It doesn't quite deal with the whole of it. Serpiente now looking for the opportunity to find throw in. The grab does. Now the Blizzard will come in on top of it. And Brutality was in there as well. Oh, it does get eaten. That's terrible. Elbow Baggins with the Death Blossom tries to keep him alive, but Monster on the Hanzo once again. Oh, and he'll reset the lines there in a quite brutal fashion. And things were looking pretty grim there for a second, but they managed to claw that back, so
yeah, remember, Monster can play that Hanzo too. I know we've been talking about the Doomfist there, but Monster did pop quite a bit on that Hanzo, and this is what's that. I think that switch was what it took. And he's gonna pick, Cal's just gonna pick that out of the air, no problem.
No, Shatter does come in, does take out Serpiente there, but the wall comes up, thrown in. The Immortality Field tries to save Uncrowned King, but it's not enough. And now Limerence have really found their feet here, so they are just pushing this cart forward.
They did find their footing, and they're moving forward. They're gonna see the rest of the theme park. It did cost them a bit of everything. Both support ults went into that last push, though, and with Cal and Monster coming into both DPS ults, they're gonna need them for this next fight, as my ult count does have something. Oh!
They walled up Kiwi and killed him in the poke phase. That was nasty. No. Everybody back to the cart really quick, though.
Yeah, you gotta get the cart. You gotta move the cart along, you know, the 3 on cart, get the max push you can. You stalled the defense a little bit, good, but there's a lot coming back at you.
Another window here comes out, and there have just been windows all day long. Purple Kiwi does have the high noon. We will turn that window into a big pick there because Monster is down. Now he's taken out of the You don't see very many boobs here on this last stage of Blizzard World, but there's one for your reel if you so like. And the alt bank here really building up for Ack Insanity.
It's worth noting that that's the second time Cal's gotten booped on that.
Oh no!
Monster falls down.
On the back line as a Purple Kiwi rolls forward and whips out the high noon to get 2 more kills, and they'll just go into cleanup phase there. But by the pricking of my thumb, something 5 ult bank this way comes.
Yeah, you put a lot into that, and you have but one set of sound barriers. I hope you manage to use it at the right time and choose that, because the economy's a little unbalanced, Corbeck.
It sure is a little top-heavy at the moment as Serpiente pushes forward another window. This man's got windows every fight. Mercy one trick, maybe change that. The map gets beat. Serpiente gets nothing out of it as Uncrowned Knight takes Monster out of the fight early on again. And once more, Limerence are sent reeling back to their spawn door in a scene that's all too familiar to me.
Excelsior is just I think I can imagine that brief break of Excelsior just saying, "Don't worry, guys, I've got the last couple maps. Just take it easy. I'm gonna just play well and just cover us. I got this."
Dragons, they're forcing a lot of room, forcing a lot of backwards movement. Excelsior was taken out there early on too, which is a great pick. Just get the D.Va out of this equation. They're continuing to push forward. Blizzard comes out here. The Shatter on the other side, but the freeze was already in. It's Cal will survive. And they'll turn it around and Shatter back. I think they invested in an arrow boost here as well as Elbow Baggins goes for the Death Blossom on Cart. That's nice to see you taking out the action. But still, Limerence all over this. More than happy to lock that one in. And what could have been real ugly turned real beautiful real quick there for them.
31 seconds on the clock is nothing to scoff at. And despite Mercy One Trick's best abilities and having a window almost every fight, it just wasn't enough. I guess you need more than windows to build a house of success, Corbeck.
I was muted. I was gonna say, that was beautiful. I'll borrow that one for another cast. They sent a poet. I didn't realize. Building a house out of Baptiste windows. I feel like what you got to be really careful about is you don't throw anything out the window because you're able to kill somebody.
Oh, this is not the house. This is not the house you throw stones in. That's for certain, because the stones are gonna hurt.
They're gonna hurt bigly, right there. But yeah, Mercy One Trick, man, he was popping those windows. That was on cooldown at that point in time for most of those fights, which is something really admirable indeed.
Yeah, in a situation where you are staring down the barrel, 5 ultimates, Mercy One Trick came in big. It wasn't enough in the long run, but it was a good effort. And I don't think we're going to see Elbow on this Doomfist, but I think we're done. And Limerence going to come out in what's been working for them. All those players in Limerence have been playing well. Monster kind of kept contained there. Cal having a couple good ups and downs, but Ack Insanity really needs to bring the heat on this attack if they're going to close this out, Corbeck.
Yeah, I mean, it's closable. Let's be honest. They could zip it up, right? It's definitely zippable, but it's gonna take a little effort. Like a sweater you haven't worn in a while when you put on some pounds, right? They can make this work. Oh, Purple Kiwi here taking an early aggressive off angle on the McCree. He'll rotate back into the team though as they begin to just push forward here into the front line. Purple Kiwi looking for maybe a stun as the wall does come up. They'll rotate around at a good stun there by the McCree to just buy his team a little bit of time to rotate back. The damage is pretty chunky, but they're holding on here. Reinhardt just swinging on the corner. They will surge forward now. The stun goes high, doesn't quite get the value that they wanted. That being said, Elbow Baggins does get a kill. Excelsior coming in as well. Excelsior gets another one. The defender's reeling back, and it looks like they might have taken the first point as Excelsior cleans up. Excelsior on the Zarya with 59 health at the end of it, but many kills to the name.
I guess Excelsior just decided that this was the map they were going to carry. I don't know who turn it was in the rotation, but I guess it was Excelsior's for this time around. Elbow Baggins there, it's worth noting the Reaper difference here, really paying off. You're putting that extra pressure on that Ryan shield and kind of breaking it up. That said, yeah, because of that pressure, there's the Graviton Surge already for Excelsior. Purple Kiwi's going to take him down early.
A window came out there, and Burnroy just looked completely flat-footed. Could not do anything. Ankles broken by that and died immediately. Purple Kiwi was winning that high ground fight, but it got turned on them right there as Monster comes in and gets the kill, but then Monster goes down. Uncrowned King gets in here and takes Serpiente out as well. Now Burnroy trying to swing back, wins the fight there in the cafeteria. Surge's Ward tries to get elbow as well, but it's okay. Reaper teleports away, and a little bit of a reset there from the attackers.
Burnroy, the hero there, coming in with that shatter to really give themselves that. They're going to reposition onto the high ground. And Cal with the Blizzard already ahead, you know, giving themselves another big game-changing ultimate here. Gonna have to see what happens when that comes out and the snow starts falling, Corvik.
Kiwi does have the high noon. Oh! He got stunned! Cal came in.
Again?
Of his own medicine. Cal got a taste of his own medicine, stunned in midair. Fortunately, Burnroy salvaged something out of that, managed to take Mercy one trick out of the equation. Uncrowned King now trying to push forward, but Excelsior dies as well. The high noon here from a Purple Kiwi. Not sure why they're investing that here when they're already down in the fight. Maybe just buying some time to escape, but you hate to see an ult used like that.
You know, what is the value of a high noon nowadays? You don't, most of the time you don't expect to maybe get much out of it. So you're not too upset, I think. But it did buy you the time to get out, but I don't know. You kind of might have wanted that for Mercy One Trick's upcoming window, but they're just going to take the fight head on, Corvik.
And they have a nano boost here as well. The shatter is thrown in. The shatter on the other side. The grab, the sound barrier, and anti-nade was in there somewhere as well. Elbow does have the Death Blossom. If they choose to use it, he will come forward and try and do just that. No, he'll pop in the high ground. He was thinking about it. No, he's just stuck.
Nope. It's a lot of things happened there, and we could barely keep up ourselves. But Elbow Baggins showing that restraint, I think, is going to be a big thing. That's the only ultimate on the board. Besides, I think Mercy One Trick just has this on cooldown. I don't think they've really. Can I call that an ultimate anymore?
Oh no, Cal drops to 7 and drops elbow tries with the Death Blossom. He won't get it off. Cal does have the Blizzard now and has survived their near-death experience there, so they can use that if they so choose to try and stall out this card. The high ground being voided now by Ack Insanity. They have to come down. They have to push the card forward. They do have time in the time bank here. The Blizzard is dropped in. It is not stunned. It is not eaten. The Immortality Field comes in there as well, and a good anti-nade will allow them to do a little bit of cleanup work here, and surely they will sweep the point. Elbow tries to keep them back in this, though. Still has that Death Blossom in pocket if they choose to use it, but the bodies are just not there. I say that, though, but Elbow drops in and destroys Monster with a headshot from the Reaper shotguns. Now the Death Blossom comes in. Unfortunately, he didn't get a lot of kills, but he split Lucio off from the main tank here, and you can see the pressure being applied directly to the forehead of Burnroy right there. Burnroy will go down. Timper taken out as well. Elbow Baggins on the Reaper. A beast right there.
And that was so smart of them. I don't know if it was intentional. I assume it was, because that Death Blossom split the Lucio out. Suddenly the Rhine doesn't have that healing, and they're so much more vulnerable. And that you could, I was gonna give a critique, maybe hold him not too long. I'll eat my words, Corvik. That was a well-played, well-thought-out play from Elbow Baggins.
Zoning Death Blossom. Another window!
The window's on cooldown! What are you talking about, Corvik? Every fight!
Open a window company at this point. He just keeps knocking him up there. Oh, Nano Boost coming in. High Noon comes out as well. Now, this is a dangerous situation. Immortality Field comes in, but it will not save all the count. Immortality Field is down as Uncrowned King charges Burnroy back to the spawn, but the attack is over. The charge are nothing more than a petulant footnote on that fight.
Sure, you got it a little further. The stall comes in. Limerence's, you're fine with that on Limerence. You didn't expend too much. You've got some big ults coming up, Blizzard and Graviton. Not much on the side of Ack Insanity, but they still have to keep that pushing. I don't write either of these teams off right now, Corvik.
Certainly not. They has the grab. Oh, and there's the grab out early on. So push him into that and try and do a little bit of damage. Anthony comes in, a good sound barrier there to cancel out what value they could have gotten. Monster does die in the exchange of gunfire. Cal does have this Blizzard here as well. Will throw that in. It will not get eaten. They freeze out the Diva. Might be able to get the mech. The wall coming out there just separates off the tanks as well. They're just trying to get kills out of it. Another window! My good Godfathers, another window comes out here. And that'll force them to back out and hold the corner.
I think we've seen more windows than we have immortality fields out of Mercy One Trick, who just needs to change their name to Baptiste One Trick. I'm pretty concerned, and I'm just pretty sure of that now. And they're still going to keep going. Limerence is just going to turn this fight and keep it going and push him back to spawn again.
Burnroy comes surging up, and Mercy One Trick basically probably asking how many windows he has to for his team at this point in time. Because even with that tactic, they cannot fight and hold. They can really only fight. The holding is being a little bit more difficult.
And Mercy One Trick already basically back at another window every fight. They've had it.
High Noon comes down here, walled off. They grab Eden again. Serpiente not able to get it out one more time. Very frustrating there, I'm sure. High Noon coming out from Monster. Unfortunately, can't really get much with it, but a big old anti-nade, and he will get something with the fan, the hammer. Elbow Baggins collapse back, but again, it's the sting and the tail of the dying Scorpion because the fight is over.
I don't know what to say to this anymore. We've seen so many more things get eaten, lost, and this is a lost and found at this point because I don't know if we'll ever find any of these things that we've seen. Elbow coming in, the only thing on the board right. Well, we have the Nano on the other side, but the Death Blossom coming in could be a big playmaker here, especially with that Earth Shatter coming online, Corbeck.
Ack Insanity just wants to put it to bed. But it's not bedtime yet if Limerence has anything to say about it, like an angry 3-year-old. They continue to hold on here. Burnroy sends that Fire Strike sailing in. Burnroy takes a ton of damage, but the Nano Boost comes out the wall there. Saves the tank from serious damage, but Cal does die. Elbow Baggins playing on the outside edge. Gets Monster as well. New York Excelsior throws in the bomb and gets one here too, but the baby demon dies. Meanwhile, Elbow Baggins just taps Burnroy out of the equation.
It's overtime, Corbeck. This is it. Elbow's been waiting for this time. He's got the Blossom. Window comes out. Mercy's gonna toss in the window on cooldown. Fine, no problems.
Oh, Elbow gets big there. Elbow with the Death Blossom, the Reaper. Just an unstoppable demon with those shotguns. The Purple Kiwi tries to remind us that he's still involved in the game, and they will force it to an overtime here, which is a little bit less than the time bank.
And you're fine with that. You have a minute, you're attacking. You had a pretty successful attack, all things considered. You took a pretty swimmingly. You needed a little help. But don't worry, I'm sure Mercy One Trick will have that window ready before the fight even starts at this point. So you might just want to start looking at that and thinking if you can pair into it, maybe give yourself a little early push. Limerence cannot afford to give this up, though. They need to use those extra 30 seconds they have a little better. And this is it, Corbeck. We're coming to the wire. This is the moment that makes it all worth it.
Yeah, this is really do or die time here for Limerence, right? They have to hold on. They did so well on that defense to keep their opponents back-footed until the bitter end. Can they just get this win on the defense, and then can they just close it out and push this onward? That's the question they have to be asking themselves.
They have to, and if you're Limerence, you also need to be a little more concerned. You've had so many of your ultimates just lost into the Diva of New York Excelsior, who's not on Diva, going to take the Zarya here. Sure, fine, you've been playing well on that. They're going to, Elbow Baggins going to stay on that Reaper, who's had some great success. I don't know. This is so tough, Corbeck. This is such a coin flip.
Yeah, it really does feel that way, doesn't it? As the Monster tries to climb up to Snack's Ramus. Won't quite make it. Now we begin here, ladies and gentlemen. Do or die time, the last ditch for Limerence in overtime. Can they make this work, and can they send it on to yet another map? A Purple Kiwi immediately taking the same off ankle as last time, getting a couple of shots in. Not quite finding any value from them. That's okay. Puts a little bit of pressure on, and that's all you need sometimes. Purple Kiwi now back with the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt pushing forward. Oh, a lot of damage coming in there to start things off. Uncrowned King hasn't quite found the value that they wanted to either. They've kind of forced a bit of a rotate here out of the defenders. Elbow Baggins was up clearing the high ground with those shotguns. Didn't quite work out. Immortality Field is forced in right away. Purple Kiwi still looking for that initial pick. Neither side really able to quite wrest the death out of this. And there it is. Ult count goes down early on. The attacker's disadvantage here. A window does come out, but it's awkwardly placed. I don't know that's really going to save them. Oh, Purple Kiwi tries to play around it, but Monster takes him off with a headshot. Elbow Baggins here takes Monster out, but the kills are stacking up in favor of the defenders. Limerence holding on by their toenails, but they are holding.
Great team play from Limerence there. They knew when to back up, when to give the space, when to just give themselves that. And you could see as the ults were kind of growing that Limerence was keeping up every step of the way, and that's what you need to do. You found that opening, they got the initial pick on the ult account on that Lucio, and they knew they could just take it from there, that was all they needed. They had the speed, they had the healing, and now they just need to do it. They need a third Corbic to keep themselves alive in this final match. What is it going to take for Limerence to keep us going to this map 7?
What is it going to take, indeed? It's going to take a third of a tick on Blizzard World's first pick.
Yeah,
doable.
that's
Eminently doable.
Yeah.
Eminently doable. You can do it.
Yeah.
Could also end in a draw. That is a valid point.
There's a chance they draw here, and
I didn't want to talk about it.
yeah, we don't want to. We're trying not to. We, as much as we love more Overwatch, let's not think about a draw here. Let's see some.
I don't want to bring it up. Yeah, it's like it could go to a draw, and we could be here for another couple of maps.
We could be here for another couple of maps. Yeah.
I mean, all jokes aside, theming wise, a draw would kind of be appropriate for the way these two teams have been playing.
Oh, absolutely.
It really has just been a sort of knock them down, drag them out style of slugfest for this squads today, and the EU has heaped us a great feast of Overwatch for this fine day.
Absolutely. Both these teams coming out giving 1000% and showing that they just do not want this to end. Just unrelenting. The blows back and forth, the plays. Let's see what happens this time around. I'm excited for it, Corbic.
Monster on that Hanzo again. The big first pick going to make all the difference here if they can get. He'll swing the corner and storm arrow to his heart's content. He won't find anyone. Tries to pick up the Baptiste there as well. Can't put it down. Monster still looking, still swinging the corner of these boxes, and Excelsior dies first. The Zarya taken out. The Maywall is in. All engines forward, full steam ahead. Can they rack up more? And they do. Ultimate
that's it.
Knocked out of the air by the Fire Strike, and that might just have sealed the deal here. There's an effort by Uncrowned King to keep this alive, but a Purple Kiwi comes right back. Oh, Kiwi won't let him go. Monster gets taken down. Purple Kiwi in their backline, slaughtering on this McCree, and he's gonna make it out with 30 health. Purple Kiwi literally saves the day, and they did not get the tick.
Those two picks from just being left uncontested and not keeping track of them, that's going to cost them. The fight was in their favor. Oh, they had the Zarya. That's such huge damage coming out, and now it's going to this New York Excelsior. Going to swap that Wrecking Ball. Has to make it back in time.
Kiwi nearly on behind you here as well. Just 10% left in the ult. You have a shatter in the bank. Hit a big shatter. They can win this. Burnroy swings, fires the Fire Strike off. Gets some good damage out of it. Can't make it stick. Burnroy surges forward here. The wall. The window's out, but the kills are all in favor here of the attackers. Can Limerence hold on? They do hold on. Purple Kiwi not there to save the team this time, and they'll just play Pinata with a Wrecking Ball to force us onto a decisive map.
I cannot believe we are at this point, Corbic. I knew this was going to be close. I knew this was going to be one of the best games of the season, but here we are in map 7, and there's no way to predict what is going to happen next. I don't think anybody could have predicted Purple Kiwi was going to turn around and save that fight. No one would have seen that coming, and I'm scared. I'm scared to see what's coming next because we're going to a whole new map, and anything is on the board, and anything's possible now.
That was an absolute banger of a map. I don't even really know what to make out of all of that. There was so much. There's been so much in this game. This has been just a festival of madness. We have ults. We have people getting stunned out of ults in midair, and it's happened again and again and again. I mean, we saw Cal do it multiple times, and he tries to jump off the top deck and throw that blizzard in, and he gets stunned out as well. Just nuts. Just nuts.
We've seen so
really
many
good.
Yeah, we've seen so many things in this set that I don't think I ever would have accounted for or even considered. And what is there left? What is there left we haven't seen yet? We've seen a variety of heroes. We've seen ults get eaten, dropped, lost. We've seen 4 and 5K plays come out. And now who's got left? Who's got gas left? Because we're in map 7. This is it. Hope you save something for the big finale, because whatever you put out here is going to be the most important thing you've done all game.
Yeah, it's true. Most important thing you've done all season, arguably.
Yeah,
but,
arguably too.
Yeah, who's got gas left in the tank? And I'll tell you what, neither of these teams showing any sign of slowing down, and that's just kind of how it is. They are surging forward. I mean, there's just no stop in either of them. Like you said, they're both giving it 1,000%, right? And let's be honest, I mean, it is a slender margin that is separating these squads. It is just a tiny little sliver of a hair in difference between them and on any given map. And because we know that, because we see them making the same big plays over and over again on both sides of the ball.
And there's a little bit to be said for the patience that's played out through this too. We've seen these moments of aggression where we know that like if they just run in and take the aggressive stance, they can win. But on the counterpoint, there's been these moments where if you just wait for the right pick, if Monster just gets the pick on the Hanzo, or if Elbow Baggins gets a flank and just picks the one, you know that you've won the fight and you just have to go in and clean up. And that's kind of been the other side of this coin, is for every moment of aggression, we've had a moment of passion of, a passion of passiveness, dare I say, that is really also kind of balancing out these teams and keeping them square in the ring.
Passion as well. To be honest, a lot of passion going into this match. You feel it, right? You feel it in your plums the way they've been fighting. But we'll see here now. It looks like our final map is going to be Havana. So that is an escort map. That is long sight lines throughout. That is a Widow. That is just scary. Hanzo, scary. This is. I don't know what to make of this. I actually don't know what to make of this pick.
There's no predicting. You know, usually you can see these picks and say like, okay, one team might have the advantage. I don't know. Monster's Hanzo's been very, very good, but on the other side of the coin, there's just so many things. You know, the brawls have to be spot on too. And while there's some high ground, the dive that that Ack Insanity was favoring for a while there, it just may not be enough given the fewer high grounds you have. You have it in B, but not necessarily in A or C. So we'll have to see what happens as we go into this, Corvic.
And we're just, I think, waiting for the teams to give us their ready up here, and then we'll get started. You know, it is interesting. So we often talk about these long matches and fatigue, you know, starts to set in, right? None of these guys are pro players. They don't do this every day for hours and hours and hours every day, you know, in a competitive setting. But it looks like we are ready to get in on Havana. But I was going to say, I haven't really seen that in this. There's no fatigue. Like, these guys are still going hard, even now.
Everybody's playing and giving 1,000% into this, and that's what you love to see out of this game. This is why we are here. This is why we have that passion and that drive for victory, to play good Overwatch, to show that you are the best. No one on any of these teams have been a slouch, and we'll have to see what happens as we go down south and move on to this map.
Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the absolute tippy top, the absolute pinnacle. We are getting started here on Havana. We were getting started here on Havana. I thought my screen froze there for a second, got a little weird, but it's all good. We are still in this, and these two teams have been neck and neck, blow for blow, all day long, and it all comes down to this: a little dalliance in Cuba to see who wins it out.
It's really been, neck and neck is not even a great descriptor either, because there are points where we thought we knew the outcome just for someone to clutch the day and save it. And I don't know if we'll see Winston Sigma here. Maybe you're counting on Black to kind of block those sight lines that you might be running. Apple Kiwi making the appearance on the Hanzo. Elbow on the Mei here. A little bit of a role adjustment, but I like the ideas here. The double sniper worked out pretty well for Limerence the first time. Maybe it'll work here too.
Does take Monster off at the Hanzo though, which is a little bit detrimental, I would say, in general. But it looks like it's going to be a really aggressive forward hold here coming in. Monster is going to just look around the corner, and we'll see that. We'll start looking for targets almost immediately. Does a quick check for another sniper, doesn't find anything. Now takes position up on top of the fuel pump there, looking for anything to really just set things apart. He's really hunting this Baptiste. But it'll be Purple Kiwi caught by a fire strike in mid-air, and actually Monster nearly dies right there as well. There's Rosaria up there with him on top of the Oh no, Cal!
Oh no.
Gets one in, Cal gets knocked out, immediately rezzed in mid-air by the Mercy. As this name just holds wide. Look at that. Unfortunately,
this is a knockdown drag-out fight here.
Wow. Yeah, Elbow Baggins cannot survive, and that is that.
Yeah, I mean, that was the right play. You had to hold early there. You know that every meter counts at this point. This is the last point, and if you can hold them to even before the end of A, that's what you want. Insanity's gonna swap over, move to Ash and Echo. Don't know about that. Cal looking like they're gonna give up this far with most of a barrage. Also, let's see what they pop out on there. Probably going to be the Hanzo, yeah. Okay, now that they've cleared the initial barrage of onslaught, they're going to move to what I think they want to start on.
Fight the monster pick, ultimate count taken out. Monster gets contested back out on the high ground though. Excelsior there immediately to trade. Again, the way things have been going, 1 for 1, blow for blow. But now the pressure just being put straight under the front line, and Uncrowned King goes down. And now they all start to come forward. Burnroy playing with space. Burnroy nearly dies. 2 HP. Be still by beating hard. Burnroy will live through all of that. New York Excelsior dies in the meantime. A purple Kiwi can't come back in and contest. And Limerence surges through point 1.
That opening pick onto my alt account was really the crucial one. Sure, you lose the other Widow and Monster, but the damage had been done because now you're out Resurrection. You're out a lot of healing. And Monster's just going to keep going and just make their presence known too anyways.
Uncrowned King gets caught looking, and he won't be getting a crown for that one. I'll tell you that right now. It's Cal playing on the low ground here, and they're just pushed right up in the distillery. They are not giving any room to the opposing team. They're forcing them into this nasty sightline of Cal. Cal backs up just a little bit, nearly sitting on the Dragons is the Hanzo. The window coming out there right away, and Elbow Baggins turns that into a kill on Burnroy. Once more, Burnroy flat-footed at the start of a fight as Mercy one-trick finishes off. Elbow Baggins traded back out. Cal still in this, still fighting. Does still have the Dragons in the pocket if they choose to use it, but Elbow Baggins is res back in, and the bodies are just building up for the defenders. Ack Insanity trying to stem the madness.
They push back with that same aggression they were met with, and I just don't know if maybe they weren't expecting it at the start, maybe it wasn't a comp they were thinking they were going to run into, but they've managed to stabilize here. With my ult account coming into that Valkyrie, that's going to be the only thing that keeps them from this onslaught of ultimates on the other side of Limerence.
There comes the Dragons, there comes the grab. Can they turn it into something? No, they cannot. Uncrowned King now going for a slam into the back line as the purple Kiwi surges forward with this clone. Tries to go in for the charge, is canceled out, but the shatter comes in. It stops the nano boosted Reinhardt. They've got room to play here. Purple Kiwi still up, building up yet another shatter. Almost gets it, but loses the clone at the last second. Still, Limerence forced to fall back.
Incredible play there by Purple Kiwi, really making the space and keeping it. That big distraction on Burnroy, that could have been very, very tragic. But now the ults, and now the economy is swinging the other way. Limerence only having that Earth Shatter, and there goes the Flux already.
The Flux comes in, that should be a Lucio out of the equation, and sure enough, Tipper is rocked down into death. They'll take out the other support here as well. There's nothing nice to see you can do but die in that situation.
The Ball Sigma comp out of Ack Insanity is really good here. You have this very, very big, kind of a hybrid half dive, half comp that's really giving them all a little bit more stability and also the ability to kind of poke from different angles too. Limerence needs to adapt to this. They haven't seen this all game, so this is maybe one of those tricks they were saving for the whole way in case it got to this point.
Well, something good needs to brew here in the distillery for them to push through this point. They'll start right up the stairs. Burnroy leads the charge as per usual. Manages to tank most of that damage, lives up to the name, now comes in, does have an Earth Shatter in the pocket. Burnroy dies! They just can't keep the main tank alive. There's too much damage, too many shots, and Mercy one trick on the Baptiste. Change that name, brother. You deserve it at this point in time.
He went in a little too quick there, Burnroy. I think he might have lost line of sight, and that was the punishment for it. And as the cleanup just comes in here, they didn't really spend anything to win that. That was just kind of a free fight. You need to pay more attention if you're Limerence. Just kind of keep yourself fighting as a team and focus on those targets. Otherwise, this is going to be the end of your run, and you're going to want to drink at the end of this run if you don't make it through this brewery here.
Yeah, they need to see something here. Cal has Dragons, can use them. They weren't able to pull off the grab Dragons last time. They're just going to play a little slightly relaxed poke phase. He fires the Dragons towards the point there. I think just trying to buy him a bit of space to push him, but there's a minefield. Uncrowned King, though, gets the minefield off and dies. There's a Bob in here as well. Elbow Baggins using the Robot Butler. You just lock down the point. Now going to push in and try and take this 1v1 with the Ana. The prey has escaped, though. Nice to see you got out of dodge. Meanwhile, while Monster gets Mercy one trick and takes that support right out of the game. Purple Kiwi tries to strike back, but it won't happen, and now Ash has become the hunted there as Monster moves in and gets the kill. A desperate touch by Uncrowned King, just trying to slow things down. There's a signal up here as well. Monster is going to get very aggressive.
It's still
there
moving though,
with
Corbin.
the hammer, but he dies, and they'll get it through.
They kept the push through the whole way through. Limerence looked like they were going to close it out. They had big control of that on the rest of us, and I don't know what needs to change at this point from Ack Sanity, but something's got to give because your initial contest looked really good, but now you're into point C where this Cal on this Hanzo just has free reign, so you have to figure out your answers here.
The Gravitic comes in. It's a good Gravitic too. The sound barrier forced out from that as Monster returns the favor. Ult account taken down by the High Noon. And here comes Limerence. Full speed ahead, just surging into the fight. They've got Mercy one trick winding back towards the point. Monster picks him out of mid-air. Elbow Baggins the last to die. And they are pushing their way through this third point.
Limerence is feeling themselves right now. They're feeling up after that win, keeping themselves to this map 7. And the cooldown on Mercy one trick's window is off, so I guess that means they have at least something coming into this, but Graviton Surge is staring down the other side, and that's going to be the difference here. One big Graviton Surge can win this fight outright, Corvec.
Serpiente has the grab, hasn't had a lot of success with it this evening, but can make the difference right here. Just can't get it eaten. And you see the eat attempt coming in right there from the Diva. Serpiente still alive. Window is coming in. The grab has to be invested. They do invest it. The immortality field was already out. The kill feed lights up bright red. The Dragon's thrown on the point there, just stopping anyone from contesting. There's a valiant effort by Excelsior. Drops in, touches. The Baby Diva tries to keep it alive, dies immediately, and they will get through with 20 seconds in the time bank. And Limerence makes a statement here on the final map.
Stellar push from them. 20 seconds on the clock, you know, not the most fantastic time banky, a few speed bumps along the way, but you're okay with that. You've at least got it to the end. Your win condition is in sight, and now the pressure's on Ack Sanity to just match that aggression and match that ability to come through. They need to shut down Monster and Cal and keep those fights turning up in their favor, Corvec.
They really do. I mean, that's been one of the things that we've talked about over and over again tonight. You cannot leave this DPS uncontested. And after that initial breakthrough on the distillery, that was just kind of what happened. And I think part of the problem, too, is we saw, I believe it was it Elbow or Elbow Baggins there on the Ash, I think kind of paid off, peeled off.
Yeah,
and they lost that DPS. Yeah, they lost that DPS, and in the meantime, the rest of Limerence was like, "Hey, cool, we're not getting shot from the high ground anymore. Let's, kill some people."
It's that team fight. It's that team play difference, though. Ack Sanity is running this comp that is very independent, but you still need to collide on the same targets. You still need to be able to play together as a team and finish those targets. You can't just expect Elbow Baggins to frag out or Purple Kiwi to just pop off there. Yeah. If you're going to win this, you need to play as a team, and that's going to be the difference here between the winners and the losers, I think, Corvec.
And I mean, to be fair, they found magic right in the distillery. Yeah. It was there. They reached out and they touched the face of Defense God for a little while, so they can probably do it again. Elbow Baggins on a Bastion? No. Come on now.
Thank you. Okay, that was a check for the initial stronghold that they did. Maybe you're expecting a Rhine Shield in your face. Sure, you run Bastion broke it out, but anything's possible. I write off nothing. We saw a Bastion appearance today, and that's the worst. If that's the worst we get today, sure. But the worst is actually a Purple Kiwi up here just isolating this Reinhardt.
Monster does die early on, and Purple Kiwi just gets annihilated. Cal finishes it off, but it was definitely a bit of a group effort right there. Cal tries to come forward and get off the res, but Cal overextends and dies. Oh no, Limerence. All that success from the previous defense going out the window here on the first point as they just get stomped backwards.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of these things before all match, right? We haven't really seen, and Purple Kiwi going to go back to the Echo. We haven't seen a lot of these things. We haven't seen Elbow on Ash. How do you really know to expect this? The fire wasn't even that long. So do you plan for that? How do you know? And that's, I think, you take the first push, sure. You move on, you get the next one. Ults are going to come your way. Sure, Limerence still has a chance here. Let's be real. Oh!
Baggins and Kiwi combining to get a good pick there on Monster. They've already taken out one of the supports here as well. The defense showing its cracks. The purple Kiwi not letting up on the Zarya. Nice for the effort, but Burnroy already dead in the front line there. Cal now going to try and come back. They do have the contest. A great effort there by Tipper to keep this alive, but New York Excelsior rocks Serpiente out of existence. And I don't think they're going to be able to hold on to this one. I say that though, Monster's still here, but another window seals the deal right there.
Does not get it. Yeah, we're cleaning up right now, though. We've seen fights turn around. Oh, the pop up onto the. Oh,
pop him up, knock him down right there for elbow Baggins.
Regular shooting gallery, and that's the team play you need, right? You know, you watch your Wrecking Ball slam, and you know that someone's going up in the air. Perfect lineup. My ult account just giving Elbow Baggins the support needed to keep carrying this, and they're going into this brewery phase, this phase 2, with a lot of ults in their economy. Corbeck, they're a little bit ahead here, but anything's possible. Black Serpentine can still have that eaten by the Sigma there, so who knows if this Graviton Surge is going to be big, and it looks like it's going to be big.
Minefield! Burnroy takes a flight into the rafters of the distillery there for a second as Elbow Baggins finishes him off. It's Cal there, tries to put in a little bit of damage on the Sombra, but is forced to translocate almost immediately. Elbow Baggins using this high ground position has the Baptiste in sight, but it'll be Bob that actually finishes the kill. Oh, point blank Tipper as well, and the push continues through the distillery in fine fashion.
Yeah, this is something that Limerence really hasn't seen all game. You might have seen, I think you might have showed this once before, but this is something you're not prepared for, and you have the tools to deal with this, but are they effective tools? You have both. You have both of your DPS ults, and there's the EMP.
EMP shatter combo Monster though with the big kills from the high ground on the high noon. Black Serpiente getting in on the action as well. Serpiente gets another one coming back out on the Roadhog and instantaneously making a statement with the hook and shotgun combo.
I like the Roadhog here. You have so many individual targets. Unfortunately, that is now going to be negated. Little do they know. But I like that pick. I like that look. You have so many people who just need to be isolated and can clean up really quickly. But with those counter picks coming in now, I'm not sure if we like this.
Burnroy just gets smacked in the face by damage right there. Dynamite and shots from Elbow Baggins. Elbow Baggins unfortunately can't get up on top of the bat, so we won't talk about that ever again. The window is coming out. Window is, I think, on both sides being unleashed here, but who's going to get the advantage out of it? It will be Tipper who dies in the midst of all that madness. That being said, Mercy one trick clapping in as well. The body's slowly going down to the ground here. For Limerence, they are running out of manpower. Serpiente tries to even it back up. What a play by whips around and takes Monster out of the equation immediately, and with great brutal fashion there as well as this cart continues to go forward.
Such a quick, effective counter picks on the side of Ack Insanity is harsh. Let's give it. Black was going to throw in that whole hog though. Gonna try and test it.
Disrupting with the whole hog. I think that was just, yeah, you're right. It was just an attempt to contest there, so I've unfortunately only bought them a little bit of time.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to stay on that hog. You're kind of, yeah, they're going to go back to Sigma. There's a lot of good, so ACK has been playing very well with these counter picks. They see the problem and they immediately change, knowing that they don't really have an ult and they can generate it pretty quickly here. As they do have 4 ults coming in on the side of Ack Insanity. Meanwhile, you have but 1 sound barrier and maybe the Earth Shatter, the EMP coming up in this next fight.
Purple Kiwi gets hit by a rock there, and that rudely interrupts the duel. The Flux Noon comes out, and Kiwi knocks down 2. Put him up, knock him down, and look at that kill feed go bright blue there as the team pushes forward.
Yeah, that's the team play that Ack Insanity has been missing a couple of these maps. And if they keep playing like this, they're just going to roll this in and we're going to push us to the OT. EMP is coming live for Caldo, and this could stop it in its tracks. With 2 minutes on the clock, though, that's still enough time to maybe get us to the end line.
Valkyrie used early on by ult account. Cal does have the EMP, doesn't want to use it until their opponents push in through the gateway, though. You can see the hesitation on the side of the Sombra, just trying to look for the opportunity to do this. Can't even throw in the translocator. There it is, translocator comes down, EMP comes in. It's got 2, but it was the shatter that really did the hard lifting right there. And Tipper gets 3 on a PS3 and Lucio! What a play!
I guess Tipper was the ultimate we had all along, because whew, they're not going to stay on it. They were going for speed there, but you can't ask for your supports to clutch any harder than that. And we've been seeing the praise of Mercy one trick, but Tipper, being a silent a silent carry on the side of Limerence this whole way through, and really just finally taking the spotlight for themselves.
Dynamite comes up. Good dynamite right there by Elbow. Hits the DPS on the high ground and lights him up for a split second. Elbow does have Bob here if they so choose to use it. Elbow more than happy to continue this poke phase, though, for a little while here. Serpiente has a Gravitic in the pocket as well. You'll see a little bit of damage being placed on Monster on the high ground as Elbow actually will go up. Monster's already rotated out of it, though. There comes the Bob. The window coming in here as well. Elbow in deep trouble here. The Mercy Pocket keeping them alive through a shooting gallery, but it's not enough. Serpiente goes to the ult once more. Serpiente has an ult canceled. It's been a rough day for the off-tank in that regard as a purple Kiwi there finishes him off. Now the window coming out basically on top of the car, and another good shatter there from Burnroy. Burnroy pushes up as a purple Kiwi is brought down by Monster. Purple Kiwi whizzes back into the fight. This fight not ending here. Kiwi does have the high noon if they choose to use it. Has not given up that ultimate yet. There's the Gravitic Flux. Do they noon Flux again? They missed the target. Oh, the Hanzo was just outside the field. Monster lives. Monster has the dragons here too. As a Transcendence is forced down on the other side. Kipper just keeping the team alive as best he possibly can. Dragons point blank down the gut of the point. There's 13 seconds left. They've got the bodies, but can they make the push? The time bank running out. It's less than 5 seconds. In just a second, they're really down to the wire here. Uncrowned King trying to push this one forward. Uncrowned King needs to make space. The cart is still contested. King swings the corner and is rocked almost immediately. He's gonna have ult here soon if he can use it. They'll push forward into the madness. This gateway, an unstoppable barrier between this team and their shot at winning the finals. Uncrowned King has the Earth Shatter in the pocket, knocked back on the gate once again. This fight never ending. Both teams absolutely desperate here. Another window comes in. The Shatter comes out, and it's a good Shatter, but the Gravitic is there. It lifts them up off the point. No, they're still in this. No, they're not. It's Cal with the Blizzard, and the cleanup is following in, and Limerence wins the championship.
What an incredible final match. We could not have bashed for a better final match, Corbeck. That last fight was to the wire. It was all about who was just managing to get the picks, who was able to build it. And it turns out in the end, if you can build a Blizzard fast enough, you can just win it on that, Corbeck. What an incredible series we've seen today.
Yeah, build a Blizzard fast enough. They were fighting for like a solid 2 minutes. I was actually madness, and these two teams
wild.
Have literally, this is like an all-time CGL classic. I've seen a lot of CGL. I've seen a lot of console watch games in general, and this one is going in the vault. I'll tell you that right now, because you do not get them like this. This has had everything. It has action, drama. These two teams literally fought it out to the bitter end, and the way it ended too, with this just complete rollicking fight on the final point of Havana trying to get into that gateway. It's cinematic, Soab. It's cinematic, is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Bay could have put it together better themselves. I mean, we had just this huge brawl, the Reinhardts right on each other's faces through it all, and every single particle effect came through, every single thing fell right in place, and Limerence just coming out on top. And we have the impossible job of deciding who was the best person here. I don't even know that we could. God. I don't even want to think about that. I don't even know if we can think about that.
I legitimately could. Oh my lord. If I had to pick an MVP, I don't know. They all played so well.
There was no bad player here, and you know, maybe it's Cal because of those clutch blizzards that have come in, but Monster just carried some fights on them by themselves. Yeah. How do you even pick on this? Both teams just had incredible players, teams comps, decisions made across the board.
There, they played really well, and even when they made mistakes, it was something that they recovered. They came back.
Yeah.
Neither team was ever broken in spirit, and I know that Ack Insanity and their fans are probably feeling the pain of this one, but honestly, I mean, you can't ask for much more out of your team than a game like that. I mean, you legitimately can't. At this level of play, on console, right? That is spectacular. It was a spectacular match, and in terms of MVP, I don't know. I really can't give it to anyone. I just give it to the entirety of everyone.
This lobby is the MVP. Yeah.
This lobby is the MVP for gifting. This lobby is the MVP for gifting us such a spectacular match. Like it really is a true kind of just spectacular bit of console watch. So I thank all the players for that.
Yeah, I think in the future, if anyone ever questions to you, oh, people playing Overwatch on console, just direct them to this game.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Just give them this game and just let them experience this, because every single person today played their hearts out and showed an incredible amount of skill and talent, and nobody has anything to be disheartened, upset about. Rebuild for next year, come back to CGL, and I can't wait for next season when these two teams come back together. This is going to be great.
It's a rivalry and a half, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of an all-time classic series that you all had the pleasure of watching and we had the pleasure of casting, it is Limerence WGA who come out 4-3 over Ack Insanity. They are your PlayStation EU Tier 4 Grand Finalist champions, and they well deserve that. I've been Korbeck, joined here by Shoab, with Headrammer handling our production. Thank you so much, Headrammer, for all you do to keep things alive. We really appreciate it, buddy. But from all of us here at the CGL, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.
Take care.